And I have started the recording. Welcome to Session 20, potentially the series finale. Potentially several characters' finales, too, depending on how this goes. We're either setting up the next big villain, or we're resolving that tonight. So, in previous sessions, we've had somebody do a retelling, but I think part of what's important now is that every character has a unique and special motivation for what's going down. So I'd like to just give everybody a character point as we go through the list here and have everybody recount how they got to where they are and what their motivations are for descending into the undersea laboratory just off the coast of Half-Elven.
Sure, I'll start off. So, I am very meticulous and do not like loose ends. I don't want the potential of someone else knowing what we got away with and potentially coming after us. So, I am going into this lair to try to tie up these loose ends so we can just get away cleanly.
Sounds good. Take a character point. Jackie, I know you're driving, but if you want to just point out the highlights. Is it for vengeance? Is it for love?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So mostly it's to prevent the Apthian threat from growing, because it is a threat to my peaceful retirement. You know, like I don't want to continue to have to fight against demons, and this represents an escalation of that threat. And I want to settle down with my girl as soon as this is over. I want to have my little keep with my lady. So I'm going to try and make that peaceful future possible.
While it is quite reasonable that you could find somebody else to rescue Lyria from the crystal, because it is just magic and there's a shitload of people around that understand magic, the guy who actually put her there is down in that lab. And I believe Lady Amalia is still with him and still in touch with you guys through Lyria.
You have their names switched, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, you're right. Lyria is the one who's down there. Amalia is in the crystal. You're right.
I'll go. Evatala is a spoiled brat who doesn't understand consequences. And she's really upset that even though she's technically won here, she's also not, it's not gone according to her plan. And so, in her capacity as captain, she is ready to basically go in and bust out the door, and sort of hasn't fully grasped the consequences of doing so yet.
All right. Take your character point. Ed, do you need more time to lay out Dasko's motivations?
Oh yeah, I mean, my motivations are just to actually survive and make the money. I don't like the idea that these people... So if I'm going down here for this thing, I'm going down there because Sleeper is my home, and I have moral obligation to not see it harmed. This is supposed to be at a significant disadvantage because there's no profit motive in this as far as I can tell. I have absolutely no issue with loose ends. I would prefer that everyone knows that I came into a ridiculously large amount of money, because then they would come and try and scam me, which is my bread and butter. So I'm happy with that. I just, I'm currently gritting my teeth and being like, yeah, my character is just currently gritting his teeth and just effectively trying to figure out why he's going to do a thing with no profit motivation. It's weird territory.
All right. Kristen, why is your character going down?
What's the location of Jax?
In the submarine heading to the underwater base.
Excellent. Yes.
And he has your amulet.
Definitely going after Jax. Going to try and. I mean, at this point, I don't even care about the amulet, or Barnabas doesn't care about the amulet. He just wants to. I don't know, if I could end Jax, that would be perfect. But revenge.
Vengeance! Tice, why is Charles descending? Or is Charles descending?
Since it seems like everyone else is going, Charles is going down there. Also, one of them mentioned in last session that the potentially of getting some kind of favor from the king of, or the king of, whoever is running Celebre, for getting rid of this threat. So maybe like being able to like if hey, we did this thing for you, you know, like basically ignore this pile of money I have, just like, you know, make it like tax exempt or whatever.
A good deed done for the sake of profit. That's actually kind of, in wartime, that would be called being a privateer, I think. You go rob somebody for the sake of your country. Celebre knows all about privateers. Very good. And then, Troy. I'm not sure if you're up to speed on exactly what's going on with Duftel and with the party in general. Do you have any questions for the party as to why they're on a boat in the middle of the Celebran Inlet, about to board some improvised submarine canoes that are being swum by Anu to attack an underwater laboratory? I saw your light go green for a second. I didn't hear anything. I mean, I'd be lost for words, too. This is a madness situation here.
Okay, did that do it?
Yes! Welcome back.
All right. That was a lot to take in, just in the imagery of what is headed toward, what we're headed, how we're heading there. I feel like I have so many questions and there's not enough time. But what is do we know anything about this laboratory?
Do you want a quick rundown of what's happened?
Sure, let's do that.
All right. So we have hijacked their zombies that they were going to use to steal the treasure off the boats while at sea, and we've been siphoning the treasure off of the ships, and we've put it onto zombie ships, so we control the treasure. But the mining guild people showed up in a submarine with an Apthian bone mage, messed us up, and are now running away to their secret lair, which we knew about and had other reanimated corpses, depositing explosives there. So we are currently about to give chase and go to that lair to make sure that we wipe them out while our treasure is safely sailing somewhere. It's pretty much, I think, where we're at.
Yep. All the treasure that matters, all the stuff that's like worth money and not worth political or military power, is loaded up onto a pair of necromantically animated sunken pirate ships. You guys are on a third ship that Evatal is captaining. The crew is currently 3 times the size it should be because the crews of 2 other ships that were destroyed by explosives have been rescued and brought on board. They are all civilians. None of them are in on your plot. There are 3 of these little weird submersible upside-down canoe things that you can get under and hold onto a little bar, and there's breathable air on the underside, while an Anu out in front paddles it forward at a pretty slow pace. Each one can basically, I say seat, but really it's got handlebars for 4 people to hold on as you're on the underneath it, not above it. But yeah, you've got handlebars for 4 people to hold on 3 of these crafts. So a total of 12 people can go down, in addition to the 3 Anu that you need to paddle it. You'll probably need them to also get you back if everything goes to plan, unless you guys find a way to hijack the submarine that's down there. In terms of assets, you do have 1 person's quasi-infiltrated into their group on the enemy submarine, and you have all the explosives that were aforementioned.
How down below is the base? Like,
so it wasn't originally down below. This laboratory was part of the extended city of Half-Elven before the continent sank about 10,000 years ago. So when the Elven continent sank, the sea level shifted, and this segment of that city ended up underwater. It's pretty deep underwater. I don't know exactly how deep. If you have a plan that involves depths, we can figure that out.
I was just checking, like, if like in the biggest emergency situation that we needed to have to start swimming up, like if like there was enough time to swim up to the surface, or
No. It's deep enough that from the surface you can't see it.
Okay.
I guess we should ask this question. How important is Lyria to Rurik?
Yeah, if you just detonate the explosives and you time it right, you could maybe kill everybody.
It's just a question of does Rurik... Go ahead.
I'm very torn on this matter. She is my rival, but she was a homie. She did help me out earlier. But she is on that submarine with those Apthian scum, so I'm very confused as to whose side she's on at this point. Is she still one of our agents? Like, is that the impression that I've gotten this entire time?
Speaking to Amalia, it does seem like Lyria's still on your side. That she boarded the submarine because she was still undercover. And she's now regretting that decision and is terrified that they're just going to start randomly making sacrifices to the Bone Tyrant of crewmen and just random people. Apparently the Apthian priest is terrifying, and she's just doing her best to hide out of the way. Amalia also tells you that Edgar has just completely stopped communicating with her. Her whole job was supposed to be to feed him information about you guys, And of course, you guys bribed her into feeding false information, but Edgar's just ignoring her now and is not speaking to her or listening to her in any way.
Yeah, she's fucked. If we don't rescue her.
There is also a necromancer down there that's ostensibly on your side, but
But we plan to backstab him. I don't care about him.
yeah, I don't think anybody really cares about him, and he was only on your side to not get axed in the face by a dwarf.
Could we theoretically have a Lyria rescue mission? And then blow it all up.
I'm very tempted to do this also because like that's a shitty situation, and if we can pull her out, I mean, I would appreciate that.
We do have the submarines with the Anu. So
Yeah,
so she can get off the submarine. We can get her to our ship.
Yeah. Are we in comms with her at all? Or is that not?
Yes, Lady Amalia can talk to her. It's not direct comms, it goes through Amalia, but it's a way to get information back and forth.
Okay, so I have a couple suggestions. So I do want to try and extract Lyria because she has been loyal to us. The other thing I want to do is there's already zombies there, yes?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So my hope is that if we can't do this now, then we will have done in a flashback a detailed scouting and layout reconnaissance of this layer to strategically place explosives and to remote detonate them.
Interestingly, Charles very specifically has a flashback power for gathering information.
Yeah, so my thought was that, okay, so what we need is as much intelligence as possible because we want to try and take out our enemies, and if we can leave the submarine, that would be cool too, as an extra option for our escape in the event that shit goes really down. So my thought is that if they are exiting the submarine, we will know because we'll have direct eyes on their path of exit from the sub, where they're going, and then choose how we're going to take them out. Essentially, that's my thought.
Charles, if you'd like to use your flashback power, you can tax your criminal power. You have a choice. You can either just use or have used your zombies to do scouting, or there are numerous deceased sailors just frickin' everywhere. So you could call upon any of their ghosts to give you information about it as well.
So you said deceased sailors. Another quick thought would be, since this is it's a place still where it was like geographically where it was, the lab is still in the same area where it was geographically.
Yes.
So would it be potentially be able to be people of that area that might note that might be that like ghosts that might be lingering from there, or would they not be there anymore?
From like 10,000 years ago?
Yeah, someone that would know innate detail of it.
There might be, but you will need to speak Elven, and not modern Elven. You'll need to speak ancient Elven in order to communicate with them.
I see.
If you have that, which would definitely be something written on your character sheet if you did, because it's a very unusual thing to know, then yes, absolutely. Their information will probably be 10,000 years out of date, given that the whole place is flooded, but they would at least know what the layout originally was, yeah. They would know the pre-explosions layout. As another thing about this, and I kind of glossed over this, but this place has blown up before. So these are ruins of an old laboratory that the Watchers were maintaining. that got blown up when Gaston was trying to recruit them for his rebellion. So the mining cooperative has been here before. They knew about it. They had stuff going on here with the Watchers. And they set off a bunch of explosives, not just there, but all over the town as well. This was, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
In fact, the charity event that Evatala's cousin was going to is specifically to fund rebuilding a lot of public structures that were damaged in that explosion.
I see. I think I'll just have. I guess I'll have the. I'll talk to sailors then in the area.
Okay. Tax your criminal superpower, and yeah. So the sailors give you the sort of the layout. When the bombs went off, most of the major storage areas were kind of wrecked. This included the original dock, where ships would be able, the submersible would be able to kind of, it was like a moon pool. The submersible could go in and then rise up out of the water to unload. That stuff is gone. It's rubble. Most of the rubble is scattered across the waters, and a lot of the stone straight up melted into lava in the heat of the explosion, since they were using a lot of alchemical fire. So that place is kind of a mess. But what is still standing is a dormitory area, which is where you guys have been loading, your zombies have been loading the dormitory full of explosives that everyone else thinks is treasure. And there is a separate and inaccessible from the dormitory section of laboratory that was spared the destruction. There is no dry path between them anymore. It was all destroyed. So getting from the laboratory to the storage area and back again involves either swimming or, as they begin reporting to you, you notice that the submarine would fit perfectly between those. So it looks like they might be finding a way to park the submarine and, with just short trips into the water and out again, go back and forth between them using the sub as kind of an artificial bridge between the two areas.
So, yeah. An idea is to get your friend to go into the storage area while everyone else goes into the main area, and then we can blow up the main area.
Aren't the explosives in the storage area?
Yes, and the dormitories, yeah. The explosives are in the dormitories, and it's unknown exactly what's in the lab, and it's not a complete lab either. It's about like half of a dome, then kind of fallen over and tilted, but it's kept the water out somehow.
Cool. That is going to serve as Lyria's shelter. I'm going to instruct her to try and slip away with as many instructions to where where I think she could go as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if she's on the watch, so I can't help with that.
Dasko speaks up and just says, "So I'm not a wizard, but we have wizards here. But I'm also these people aren't fish, right? So they need to breathe. So they must be getting air in there somehow. So if we can stop them from getting air in there, and then we can make the air in there not good to breathe, then I think they're not going to have a very good time. We don't necessarily need to blow anything up. Also, if we're going to blow it up, like, I'm all for blowing things up. It's very flashy. But in this particular case, again, they're not fish. So we just need to blow it up enough that the water comes in, and then I'll just take care of the rest of it, I think.
Literally anyone at this point can make an engineering check to get some additional information relevant to what Dasko just pointed out.
Engineering is not one of my many talents.
You would likely be adding cunning to it. Engineering plus cunning.
I will give a go of it. Avatala has watched an engineer do something before.
You carry around a wrench for a reason, right?
2 successes.
Also, do we have any idea what this like structure is made of? We know it's a dome and it's keeping water out, right?
Yeah, the descriptions of it is stone. But yeah, was anybody else making any checks there for engineering?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna use all my cunning because I have no engineering pips.
I might.
I must use a portion of, no wait, all of my cunning.
I too got successes.
All right, well,
One. I'm gonna roll as well
oh, okay.
once I find the chance.
I feel like Remy actually has some competence in this field.
Tasco just says,
Well, there we go. I do have competence in the field, but
So
not in
Doesn't
this.
matter.
Yep.
all right, so Evatala and Charles, you guys realize as Dasco is explaining that they're not fish, that the descriptions the ghosts gave of the dome and the dormitories, but mostly the dome, does not make sense as a watertight structure. So the air must be being held by something else that's going on.
should have hired one of. You should have hired someone other than Dasco. I had a couple of characters that had an just a stupid amount of engineering.
On the other hand,
One of the available bakers was literally like somebody who specialized in drilling underground tunnels.
Yeah, I was like trained in void architecture and Gordo.
and we laughed at that because we were going to see.
All right, yeah, one of Jackie's characters. Yeah.
So I assume that they have some breathing apparatus, probably not Anu driven, but something similar to what we have right
Well,
now.
I mean, couldn't they just very simply have, what are they, bottles of air or whatever? That was the same thing that we had to keep air in our room.
Or they could have like do you think potentially some kind of magical force field?
Look, there's a lot of magic going down there, and I don't know what all of the magic is, but something down there is keeping them breathing. Now, we could possibly hijack if that's all there is.
All right. Are there anti-magic devices or fields or things of that nature?
Amazingly, Rorik is currently carrying a shield that has a special mode to pull magic into it as a way of countering spellcasters. A clever artificer might be able to modify it to something like what you're thinking of.
I think I even have 2 charges left.
Since you guys are going to be
And-
abandoning using the door, there's an additional 12 charges left in the bag that you guys haven't used for keeping the door open.
We could pop through the door if we need to get something from Celebre as well.
Well, and would such a field also affect this bone mage that, as far as I can tell, can just make us all puppets?
You definitely need to make a scholarship or some kind of arcana check to understand that. That is a complicated question, and advanced scholars may have some inkling.
Anybody here a scholar?
Avatala has dabbled in scholarship.
Dasco raises his hand and says, "Do you need me to actually know things, or do you need me to convince someone that I know things?"
Would you like to convince the bone mage while we're in front of the bone mage that our shit is going to stop him?
All right. No, I think maybe you're looking for a different guy.
So yeah,
That's what I
cunning
thought.
scholar.
I have several degrees though. I go shuffling through my list of papers and credentials.
So, Tice, you know that generally speaking, the scholastic magic that you're used to, wizard magic, and priest magic don't interact. Generally. That's not always true, and the weird edge cases where it is true are not completely understood by you, at least. For example, there is a wizard spell that heals versions of the Apthian Plagues, and the Apthian Plagues are not wizard spells, they are priest magic. But, yeah. In general, they don't interact, as though they're happening in different dimensions of reality.
And in most cases, if they're exactly the same domain, and there's a priest and a mage, the mage generally loses.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
But we do know that Ashta protects us, right?
Ashta protects you from mind control and possession.
All right.
And
So,
Ashta is priest magic.
so could Dasco flash back and talk to his Thieves Guild friends? Because we're against an Apthian Bone Mage and there's Celebrin to acquire us an anti-Apthian Bone Mage item.
Daska is capable of providing you guys with a vast array of nonsense if enough is taxed. If it's there are rules about Daedic items spelled out in the skill here.
Would I have had the opportunity to stop off in Half Elven or near Half Elven at any point?
Unfortunately, no. Which is a bit sad because there's a bunch of cool stuff going on there. But yeah, no, you guys are. You could probably go there instead of going down into the lab. That would mean, though, that whatever's going down in the lab gets a chance to finish what it's doing.
Can we modify the shield with the op? Is that like a thing we could do? Like a divine bubble instead of like an arcane bubble?
Uh-huh. I got an idea. I'm going to flash back and talk to the Thieves Guild people. And I'm going to do this because I just like having things around, and I'm carrying around a bunch of explosives. So I figure if I'm going to go with carrying explosives, I might as well carry a lot of explosives. So I'm going to talk to the Thieves Guild guys, and they're going to happen to have some vials of the alchemical fire that was used to destroy Half Elven, because I'm sure they're interested in that stuff. And I'm going to acquire a couple of those just in case.
Okay. If you want to just tax your flashback power, you have it. Done. Okay. If you want to not have to tax your flashback power right now, you totally could just walk through the doorway into Celebre. In like the present. You won't lose access to the door until you begin this mission because you're at the threshold where the door is about to stop working.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll say I'm gonna go get some alchemical fire because that stuff burns through rock like butter.
It does, and it burns underwater.
And it doesn't explode. It's like thermite.
It's incredibly dangerous. It kind of explodes in water. It's not it exploding; it's the steam coming out of it. But yeah.
All right, so I'll just go get 5 vials of alchemical fire from the Thieves Guild, and then I come back with that and some, like, I don't know, and a sandwich and a couple of other things, just trinkets.
Okay, so doing so involves opening the door twice, once to go in, once to come out. The door is at its kind of limit, so it only stays open for like 60 seconds, basically. So that brings down 2 of your charges. You've got 10 left in the marble bag, plus the 2 that Rurik has on her.
If anybody else wants me to pick something up while I'm there, just let me know.
I mean, if we're gonna end up going back, you might as well wish for more wishes and just get more marbles. If it costs us 2 marbles to go, just bring back more than 2.
I was gonna say, like, that will cost money, but then I remembered you guys have a pair of ships with virtually limitless wealth on them, so yeah. However many marbles you feel you can carry, no problem.
Okay, I come back with that, several sandwiches and a bag full of marbles.
Okay.
Alright, so we still don't have a solution for the Bone Mage or magic.
Do you know if you can get any kind of poison that can maybe paralyze or something? Do you think that might affect Bone Mage from casting if he can't move?
A lot of magic, at least in the magic you're aware of, does require some amount of somatic component. But priest magic is outside your field of expertise. Your understanding of how priest magic works is that the priest doesn't actually cast the spell. The priest prays to their god, and the god casts the spell for them.
I spoke to a friend of mine that fought one of these guys back when we were in Celebre, and doesn't seem like poison's thing's really going to mess with him, because he told me that the guy just turned to a giant rage monster, like a giant big bone monster made out of cows or something, and then it was kind of a bad situation. So
I remember that fight.
Where does druid magic fall in this spectrum?
Druid
it's
magic
priest
is
magic.
priest magic, yeah.
It's divine.
Yeah.
So like I should know things, right?
You could know things, feasibly know things.
And you are a druid of a moon that fell onto the planet.
Isn't your god like a destruction god? Dude, this should be up your fucking...
Yeah, and your god, your moon, whether it has intention or not, your moon and Aptus don't get along.
Yeah, I feel like
They're falling out, right? So
Falling out, nice.
I don't know. They got really close.
All these puns are priceless. So, did you want to roll a scholarship check on something? I'm not sure what you're trying to find out if your character knows.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I'm doing a little catch up right now. So the bone priest came up and messed us up. That's what happened.
He didn't even fight. He just, I guess, calcium kinetics. He bone kinetics the people out of the way by just levitating their bones out of his way, so that the mining cooperative crew could board the submarine that he was on. And there was about to be a fight, and Rurik convinced the rebelling guards to not engage with him. And so, yeah, went away peacefully, but in the process and in the confusion, some bombs that were set by the Thordil intelligence agency were not diffused in time, and they blew up 2 of the ships.
That being said, me telling them not to go after those guys probably saved their fucking lives.
Definitely saved their lives. They stood no chance. You're a veteran of fighting demons. Those guys were about to be slaughtered.
Okay, so knowing how I use my magic abilities and stuff, would I be able to figure out how to like basically disconnect someone else's priestly magic?
Yeah, you could make a roll for that.
Okay. And that would be scholarship and cunning.
Yeah. At a much lower target number for you, because this is definitely within your realm of expertise. All right, yeah, so basically, your god needs to punch his god really hard.
Like the equivalent of a moon hitting a planet?
Pretty much. Basically, in order to cut off power from a priest, you need to cut off that god's ability to channel power to the priest. And so there are a variety of sneaky ways to do this, where you mess with their faith so that they don't believe in their god anymore, and then they lose their powers. Or you trick the god into thinking that's the case, and the god gets mad and is like, why don't you believe in me anymore? I won't give you any powers. But the surefire way to do it is to have your god punch their god so hard that their god just can't manifest power through their priest. And that is something you're going to have to convince your god to do, and your god is, I'm not going to say an inanimate object. It did fall from the sky. That was pretty animated. But your god is more of a philosophy than a thinking being, and his god is a demon. Yeah, not even technically a god. It's a demon from the lower planes. So I'm not saying it's impossible. You got a chance, but that's what it comes down to. Your god is also in kind of a different domain than his god. His god is specifically bones, and yours is moon falling from the sky. But yours is kind of like sand and glass and...
Yep, I'm gonna make an argument for glass. Shred that motherfucker.
If anyone stands a chance of just dealing with this guy in a philosophical astral plane engagement, it's you. However, you're going to need a lot of Ashta. You can't go into that one sober. Because if this guy can kinetic your bones, he'll just turn your bones to daggers and tear your insides apart.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking fight this guy. You're just gonna have to like divine rat battle him.
I mean, when I'm like partially in stone, though, am I partially stone?
You can be, yeah.
I feel like in a certain part of engagement, I could potentially just not have bones for him to manipulate.
That is an interesting tactic. There is a
But
large amount of
also-
stone. The structure you're going to is made almost exclusively of stone.
Yeah, which means that you can make giant holes in the stone also, right? Like, if they're not using
Yes.
magic to keep the air in, that should be interesting. Do we have Ashta?
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect. Can I have a bottle of Ashta on my person?
That would be Dasco, your quartermaster, would be doling that out.
I'll give you this bottle of Ashta, and I will put it down on your tab here, and I pull out a notebook, like, and this will just come out of your share, obviously, so it's perfectly fine.
Mm.
My character's been keeping detailed expense reports for the entire thing, because my contract explicitly says that I'm given 1/5 the share, of course, after my expenses are covered. I'm concerned that I basically let several ships explode. So
Yeah.
they might take that out of my expenses. So.
We're definitely taking that out of your expenses and your expenses alone.
So I might have to comp some of those, but that's all right.
That's going to be an interesting tax filing right there.
So our plan is a philosophy battle with a bone mage while simultaneously melting this place and hoping that it all works out for the best. Is that my understanding?
All right, then. Who's getting on the boats?
I mean, I still have bones. I'm very worried about
Yeah.
this.
Drink your ashta. That's about all I can say about that.
Yeah.
How
How does that fix the mage from controlling my bones? That was just mind control.
Yeah, this is a good question, actually, but it's more philosophical. It's not literal and scientific the way that scholastic magic is. It's god magic. So god magic thinks of him controlling your bones as him controlling you in much the same way as mind control.
So from my understanding too, the Ashta is like what's the guy's name? That god, the trickster god guy?
Kyle, yeah.
Yeah, like the Ashta is basically just a fuck you from Kyle. So like that's
right.
how it works. The
Alright.
fuck it's a divine and middle finger floating directly into the Bone Tyrant's face. That's basically how that works.
I mean, it's not exactly. I mean, I don't know if we would know this, but like, if we can get him to drink it, that would be the most devastating thing for his powers that he could possibly have.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, we
I
Can we know
try to
that
get
somehow?
him to drink.
Also, if you mix your blood with it before you drink it, it becomes more potent.
Okay, can you make like glass shards covered in this shit and just hit him with some diamond dust, baby. Just hit him with that glass. Covered in ashta. Some of it's bound to get in to his bloodstream.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining us going down there with an Ashta bazooka.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a poison though. I mean, it's like a ritual thing. So like, I mean, they have rituals and stuff. Like if you put it in his wine or something and he drinks it as like a thing and it has ashta in it, then that's bad. If you just like inject him with ashta, I'm not really sure what that'll do because it doesn't work following logic.
So,
I mean, it'll probably sting. I mean,
Sting, yeah. I mean, I'm all about. We can throw glass at him as well. I'm happy with that.
So I have the zombie fish, but I was so I could see if this is the case. But if theoretically they're having drinks or something down there, could invisible Avatala get down there, get Ashta to their drinks,
So
and then get out?
everyone that's going down there is in some way human and does have human biological requirements, including eating,
Right.
drinking, sleeping. So if this is not a rushed operation, you may find that there are opportunities to do all kinds of stealthy things when you get down there.
All right, so we're going to drunkenly engage in a philosophical battle while simultaneously trying to poison with Ashta and melt down this place.
No,
That is the
honestly,
plan?
this is
Yeah.
only the third worst plan we've ever come up with.
I have an idea. We had contact with the person on their thing before everyone split up, right?
Yes.
So it could have been potentially someone could have slipped her some ashta.
That would be an interesting flashback. Potentially. That's absolutely within Dasko's domain, and yeah.
What was the suggestion?
That you have You use your flashback power to have previously given Lyria some Ashta while you guys were on the boats together before she got separated and ended up down there with the bad guys.
Yeah, sure. I can do that. I'll tax a point for that. Done.
Oh, I found a good motivation, a profit motivation for you. And if we can manage to get anything from here, like any Bennington or anything like that, you can have that as, let's say, expropriations.
The missing treasure that you guys don't have on your ship is the Bennington and the Petrish parts, and some of the explosives. You have gathered a lot of the explosives down there intentionally. Possibly all of the explosives. I don't know how thorough you were with that. I don't know if that's enough for you to overcome your handicap, but once you've all got Ashta in you, you're all going to be at kind of a disadvantage for mental checks anyway. All right, so I return to the question then, if you guys are ready to launch. Who is going in which of the 12 seats? So if all of you are going, there's still some extra seats for you to bring other support characters along with it. And then we'll make after you decide that, we'll make a separate roll to see what Lyria manages to accomplish.
I think we need to leave one seat open because, in theory, we're bringing Lyria back with us.
Okay.
In theory, one of the boats should probably be with people that aren't like capable of being in combat as much, and they should probably go overtake the submarine while we're getting in contact with the other groups, so they would use that ship. Because if we get into a fight and they realize they're losing, they might try to retreat. But if they see their submarine gone, they won't have an escape access anymore.
They'll what? Fight to the death? God.
Well, it's better than them escaping to be able to enact the plan somewhere else. If that's what our actual plan is, to stop them, we need to cut off all access of escape for them.
I don't know if we need to go fast or slow on this, because I'm kind of intrigued by the idea of taking this very slow and looking for opportunities.
Yeah. We can bring some Anu. That might be useful to have underwater.
I felt we had to have the Anu.
Yeah. There are 3 Anu, and all 3 will be coming with you because they need to pull the craft.
Okay.
I think our best options are the dwarves, the agents, because they are trained infiltration agents. Yeah, they're trained. It's better than me just bringing a couple of no offense to my deeply loyal crew, but fishermen to a fight. So if we bring a couple of the dwarves, they actually leave one seat open because we need to evacuate. It's just a question of how many we want to. You know, in theory, we're all fighting on the same side of this now. The dwarven agents and us.
Presumably, you're not telling them about the treasure. You're just saying, let's go mess up some Aphthians.
Right. That's what we're basically telling them.
They're totally on board with stopping a Bone Priest. The whole point of them being out here was to inhibit Apthia from gaining any advantage out of the situation. Or Apthis, not Apthia. I don't know why I said that. Yes, they want to inhibit Apthis from gaining any advantage out of the situation.
Yeah. So I think that's our best candidates for other people to be on ship. It's just a question of, do we all go down there?
So there's 6 of you, which means there's 6 other slots. There are 6 dwarves. There were 2 per ship.
Actually, the 6 dwarves can go into their own thing, and they can be the one that infiltrates the submarine to take it.
Each of the submersible canoes carries 4 people.
Ah, okay. So there's 3 of them. So yeah, Dev like it. Actually, so there's 6 currently. So maybe
So
4
you,
in one, and then 1 in each of the other ones. So we each have a dwarf infiltrator.
that means you don't have a spare seat for Lyria, but you are intending to take the submarine. If you set off the explosives while the submarine is docked, the submarine is probably going to be damaged beyond repair.
Yeah. In the worst case scenario, a dwarf might accidentally get in the direct line of a Brome Priest attack or something, you know.
You have minimum required attrition there.
We need one NPC to die for this to work perfectly, or to capture the submersible intact.
Well, we don't set off the explosives until the submarine is free and away. So let's see here. The first one should have. I should be. I know at least it should be me, and then Avatala should be in the other floating one. So we have at least one magic user in each one, and I'm not sure where the druid should go. Maybe with Avatala.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. So we're trying to figure out who's getting in which canoe.
Probably druid, Avatala, and Drasco in the first one with one dwarf, and then the other 3 in the other one.
That's a very squishy canoe. Like,
Well, you have the druid. The druid is
Very squishy.
I guess we could trade out Dasco for for.
I feel like Avatala and Remy should go together because they both have a lot of bullshit about them, basically.
Okay.
That's just my personal thing. Like I could, make Remy invisible, then Remy does some weird Remy stuff, and that could be our infiltration method.
And who do you want as your last person on your team then?
Someone competent.
So an NPC.
I take huge offense to that. I'm very fucking competent.
Well, let's sort out this in a different way then. Rorik, canoe A, B, or C? Which one are you getting on?
I'll go on A and protect some squishy people. So like the druid and who else?
Remy, A, B, or C? Which canoe are you getting on?
I guess B.
Barnabas just follows Rorik because Barnabas is squishy.
Okay, so Barnabas is getting on canoe A.
Barnabas was a bow priest all along.
That would be the biggest stretch of that ruling. All right, Dasco. Canoe A, B, or C?
I assume that that's the order they're going in. I mean, I want to go on whichever one is likely to see a not. Well, so I'm actually not. Let me check my skills for a second. Oh no, I was about to lie. Okay, so I'm actually not very good at anything that involves moving around physically. So so as long as it's not a canoe full of people that are involved in sneaking or fighting or anything but talking, really, that I'm okay with that. Otherwise, I'm going to go in whatever canoe Jackie's character's in, because I feel like she can get in the way of stuff.
Jackie's in canoe A.
And I think she's also not very good at sneaking, so that's okay. So I'm not gonna let them. I'm not gonna like uncover their stealth. But also, if we get into the shit, I can just hide behind her.
All right, Dasco in canoe A. There's 1 seat left in canoe A, 3 in canoe B, and canoe C is currently empty. Let's see, Troy. Where is Duftel getting in?
It's a good question. I was called squishy a moment ago.
Much of your crew is squishy, but a lot of them are squishy because they're really good at talking or lying or magic. And you're one of the ones that's in the magic category. You may be squishy, but you can also make things squish.
It sounds like so far we're divided between A and B, and C is going to end up full NPC. Do we want full NPC craft?
So my thought with regards to that is that our NPCs are supposed to be kind of competent, here. They managed to infiltrate this whole ship and did not raise any alarms to our knowledge, except when they literally told us their plan.
Yeah, the TIA agents are basically Dwarf Bond.
So I'm okay with them having their own thing. The other thing that I think could be cool is Avatala, Remy, and 2 dwarves on ship B.
Okay.
We have how many per ship?
What was that? Sorry?
How many per ship? How many per canoe?
4.
3 canoes, 4 per ship.
Because I think in that case, ship B would stand for bullshit. But I think that might work best. And then the first ship is mostly Rourke escorting our squishiest, our talkers, like our Smith, our grocer.
Okay. It sounds like I should be on ship A then, based on that. And then, so that would be 4. I would be the 4th seat on ship
Yep.
A, right?
That fills ship A. Evatala, are you going on ship B with Remy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so that is all of the player characters. So now it's the NPCs. You've got 2 slots on ship B.
Hey, was Tyson or Charles on the ship?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, Charles. Oh my goodness. You know what? I miscounted because Jackie was not in the chat at the time that I did the count. You're right, Charles. Which ship are you getting onto, Charles?
So B has both Remy and
Evatala, yes. And C is empty. currently.
But you wanted to have 2 dwarves on your ship? Is that what you said?
That was my thought. If you want to be on the ship, like we'll figure something out. I just was thinking about how our skills would work as a team. And it just changes from, us being the sneaky ship to us being the flood avatar with a bunch of necromantic energy ship.
Because I could always just go with 3 dwarves and take the submarine, have at least some kind of magical backup for the dwarves, just in case they actually encounter some kind of back thing on the ship.
Also worth remembering that Charles is effectively the detonator to the large explosive stockpile. Though there are other ways to set it off, Charles can set it off safely at a distance.
Yeah.
Can I also rope in the dwarves on our magical communication that we take with us?
You'll have to recast it, but you could do that, yes.
Yeah. I think I'm going to, because...
Be aware, if you do that, and you mention treasure to each other, the dwarves will hear about it. Communication discipline will be required.
We just need to come up with a code word for treasure.
We'll have a buffet after this, Don't forget about the buffet.
It's better than the only word that came to my mind was bananas.
Banana
There's
bread.
always money in the banana stand.
I have a good question. These guys are like really fucking smart.
The TAA agents? Yeah. They're
You think I'm like,
they're like James Bond, the
oh,
dwarves.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna fucking believe that shit. I'm just saying, like, have a fucking luncheon, like we're friends or some shit. They're gonna see right through that shit.
There's money in the banana stand.
Can we have multiple comm channels?
That sounds challenging. Can I?
I mean, magic can do
how
all
do you
kinds
keep
of
one?
things.
Yeah. How do you keep one spell up? So can you keep 2?
You would probably need to, because the spells would interfere with each other, you'd probably need to take the current one down and build a much more complex spell that would let you switch between channels somehow.
I will say it's
And then you'd have to train all your party members in how to use it, because it's going to be more complicated than just thinking at each other.
Alright.
Let's make it really confusing and combine it with priest magic. And when you pray, it'll work. And then
The dwarves are pretty awesome at being autonomous, though. Like, they managed to infiltrate and plant explosives in all 3 ships without being able to communicate with each other.
Yeah, and then they managed to blow up 2 of them because they couldn't communicate not to do so.
True.
That's why I want them on our comms. I think we just agree that we don't mention treasure or anything of the type.
And I, as the GM, am not going to mention if I notice you mention treasure. I'm just going to remember.
Yeah, I mean, like, so here's my... There's no reason for us to bring it up right now, because we need to be focused on the mission, and the mission has nothing to do with that. At no point in time are they relevant to each other right now. Like, if you're dealing with a bone mage, at no point in time should we be worried about or discussing such things. Like, we have fucking priorities.
It's not like part of your plan is going to involve dropping 1,000 tons of steel directly out of one of your boats on top of the bone mage.
We have so many other options, like special fire that burns underwater. We have Ashta. We have options.
what? We have freaking white phosphorus?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it's closer to cesium, but yeah.
Oh, that stuff is scary. It's banned in wars.
Yeah, this stuff is nasty.
I think that if it was necessary, also like demons would be banned in wars. So
Yeah, demons would be turbo not allowed.
Dropping moons on cities would be banned in wars.
That's probably a war crime somewhere. Yeah. Most sci-fi settings recognize dropping big rocks on things as being like the like somewhere above nuclear weapons in terms of WMD level.
All right, so Remy and Evatala, how many dwarves do you want coming with you?
How many seats do we have?
2.
we have 2.
Oh, I mean, I guess 2 then, if
Yeah.
Charles isn't coming with us.
Charles is going, as far as I understand it, in Canoe C. Charles was planning on taking 3 dwarves and using Canoe C to take over the submarine while you guys dealt with the laboratory itself.
What about Lyria?
Yeah, that's a question.
The thing is that if we're taking over the submarine, we have a way to get Lyria back up. And
if not, make sure one of the dwarves gets killed in the crossfire.
Evatala also has a backup that could get Lyria out of there.
Let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
All right, so I have Boat A, Rorik, Barnabas, Dasco, Duffdale. Boat B, Remy, Evatala, and 2 TIA dwarves. And Boat C, Charles and 3 TIA dwarves. 1 TIA dwarf will have to just sit this one out.
Can these dwarves have names?
Sure.
I don't have suggestions, but
what do you want to name yours?
I prefer numbers so we don't get emotionally attached.
Steve is the one that's left behind.
Steve can have a name. He gets to live.
We'll have 003 and 004 on your boat.
Yeah. This will work.
And then 005, 006, and 007 on Charles's boat. .002 is staying ashore, and 001 is back in Celebre.
Presumably, have no idea what's just happened.
Presumably. .002 collects personal effects from the other dwarfs who realize they might not come back from this, given that they are going to fight an Apthian Bone Priest. All right, and they are ready to descend.
And we have a round of drinks before we go.
And all of you have drinks on your belts going in, too. Corked up so the seawater doesn't get in.
How much Ashta does one have to drink until they're protected? Do we know?
It is more ritual than science. Essentially, if you've drunk enough Ashta to be impaired, you're under its protection.
Lovely. So I mentioned this before session, but Evatala is an absolute lightweight.
So let's have a little roll there to see if you overdo it or not. That's going to be propriety plus focus. Because you only need to get yourself tipsy. But if you drink too much, you're kind of a lightweight. You might enjoy a different situation.
1 success.
Okay, so for the rest of this encounter, Any mental actions you attempt to take, you will do so at a reduced threshold.
White girl wasted. Let's go.
Sadly, that will include spellcasting, but yeah. Physical actions are, on the other hand, are not impaired. They're not enhanced either, but they're at least not, yeah.
I had to get really drunk for them to be enhanced.
Is her belief that her physical abilities are enhanced? Enhanced?
That's why they're not impaired.
Is my performance enhanced, though? Is the real question.
Your performance is not altered. At least, your performance is not altered if you're doing performance plus agility. Or performance plus vigor. If you do a performance plus empathy, that might be different.
Cool.
I guess what he's trying to say is like certain parts of the sobriety test you would pass and others you would fail.
Or
they have you walk on a line, touch your fucking finger to your nose and shit. You got that.
Or to put it in a more mechanical way, if the stat you use is focus, cunning, or empathy, you get a threshold penalty.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense.
Alrighty. Down, down, down you go. No way to stop. There is a way to stop, but you're probably not going to. The unfortunate thing about these canoes is that they were designed as a getaway, not as an assault vehicle. So they do not have a good way for you to see what's going on, except, of course, to dunk your head underwater and open your eyes. This is salt water. It's probably going to hurt if you do that. Did anyone bring goggles? All right, then. So you guys are relying entirely on the Anu to steer you to your objectives. Where are you telling the Anu to take you?
Can I make goggles?
You can control glass, so yes.
Yeah.
Can you just make glass bottom boats?
They would
I think
sink.
the boats are already made.
What are the boats made of? Wood, I assume, but...
Yeah, wood that's been treated so that they can go underwater. They're not super buoyant. They're like minimally buoyant. But the Anu are capable of paddling them down into the depths.
So I could make like potentially a set of, or a couple sets of goggles if we need them.
Yeah, if you've got some sand or something or rock that you can use, you could potentially make everybody a set of goggles by transmuting it into glass.
I always keep a little sand on me.
Can I use my undead fish to keep track of my location?
Yes, you still have control of that.
Yeah.
So your undead fish spots the facility as you guys approach. Let's see. Duftel, are you taxing your magic in order to cast that spell?
I'd say save it if Evitala can do forward scouting with her dead fish. Save your magic for the real showdown.
If that's the plan, yeah, I can hold off. But that's just one canoe, or I'm assuming, yeah, if one.
Well, we have a metal connection.
Oh, that's right. We can all converse.
Alrighty. Everyone, aside from Evitala, who has the fish to see by, is going to be taking a point of composure damage from just how dark and quiet and spooky it gets when you no longer have a light source and you're entirely reliant on other people to tell you that you're not about to die. Heading into danger is stressful. Obviously, you may use things other than composure if you wish. Just have to justify it. But otherwise, yeah, your composure is taxed a bit as you descend into danger away from the treasure. Avatala, the ruins are pretty much as described. There's very little left that's functional here. But your fish is seeing some glowy bits that definitely indicate some of what's being held together is being held together by magic. Your fish doesn't have the keen eye or intellect to figure out whether that magic is new magic, or if it's some of the old magic from when the building was first built, or maybe magic cast on it by the Watchers when they were using it. Whatever the case, the fish is reporting there's some glowy blue and glowy green stuff about, and there are two functional structures left. The dormitory, which is a large, blocky building, primarily in a square, and a large half dome that's tipped over, and that one's got most of the glow going on it. But it looks like to the fish that some of the glow has sealed it off into an airtight structure of some sort. Parked between them like a bridge is the submarine, nearly touching the bottom. It's parked there with its forward and aft ports, both very, very close to the entrances of the two buildings, such that personnel can, with a quick swim, dash from one to the other. Now, where did you instruct Boat A to go?
I'm not entirely clear what Boat A's plan is to accomplish.
Boat A can enter the dormitory, the dome, or can try to go into either end of the ship. The dormitory has multiple entrances, one of which is at the ship. The dome has, it looks like a just shitload of entrances from all the like rubble and messed up parts of it, just all around the outskirts of it.
Oh yeah, have we heard from our spy about Ashta poisoning?
Oh yeah, let's give her a roll, see how well she does.
Come on, you got this.
Because if she gets caught and dies, then we don't need to go down here and rescue her anymore.
It's a fair point, I guess. Dasko, what is the quality of the Ashta that you gave her?
I mean, it's good Ashta. I don't really have a quality listed, so I mean,
okay.
Ashta by definition is relatively good quality. So it's not like the super crazy expensive stuff, but it's probably the stuff that like Jan and Whale make in Thordo.
Was there stuff quality 4, quality 5?
It's like between 4 and 6, depending on what vintage you get. And they got higher quality stuff, but yeah.
All right, we'll average it out to 5 there. Okay, she has successfully dosed just about everything they've got with Ashta and gotten away unnoticed.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys might be entering into a much safer situation than you originally suspected.
Oh, yeah.
She reports that they did some stuff with magic on the ship, but then afterwards went to a celebration to celebrate their success in this adventure. They all had a toast and drank some wine, and there was Ashta in all of it. She was thorough and did not want to take any chances. So every single thing to drink there has Ashta in it.
She's got skin in the fucking game.
She does, and she does not want to get out of that. So she's included in the list of everybody that has Ashta in it.
She's probably just pouring in. They're like, I want to live, bitch. Like,
Okay. She is not certain what they did to Edgar, but she hasn't seen him in a bit. He was apparently not at the party, but yeah, he's also not a Apthian bone priest, so that's not as big a deal.
Eh, that's still concerning.
I hope he has had some of the Ashta. Just in case they're planning on making him their weird super soldier or some shit.
One set of creatures with bones that was unable to get any Ashta are the zombies that had been delivering the explosives. Tice, those are under your control.
How do you determine who has control over their
Control over the zombies?
bones? No, specifically their bones.
Yeah. So right now, that's Tice's magic. He is converting the energy created by the decay of their flesh into etheric energy that is then being directly used to control and manipulate their joints.
So if in the worst scenario is I have to get into a struggle to see who's if I can work the joints or if he can like move the bones.
Yep. So once again, which boat is A going to, or which entrance? Where is boat A going to?
I'm going to. So, what is boat A going to try and accomplish? I know what boat C is trying to accomplish. I know sort of what boat B is going to try and accomplish.
I'm on boat A, but I have my own objective here, so I'm looking for Jax, but I don't know what everyone else is doing on boat A.
So the last report you got from Lyria was that everybody disembarked. Most of them went into the dome where the laboratory is, and she did as well. Following your instructions, she is hiding in one of the abandoned laboratories inside the dome.
A could always be Operation Kick the Front Door Down while everyone else is.
All right. I guess. I don't know. So, most everybody we know is in the dome, right? Is what you said?
That's what she thinks. She thinks most
Okay.
everybody's in the dome right now. She
Alright,
doesn't know because she's hiding.
Does my fish see anybody moving?
Your fish cannot see inside the buildings, but at
I
the
mean,
moment
moving
the fish,
like between the two.
yeah, the moment the fish does not see anybody swimming between the buildings. Remember that they only go in the water for a very short time. Then they're on the sub. They walk down the hallway of the sub to the other side, and then there's a short swim again to get into the dome.
All right. God, I don't know what to do with Baudet, honestly. So if anybody has suggestions, feel free.
So boat A has Warwick, but then it also has
As Rourke and Duftel, which is
Duftel also.
Yeah, Bode has your power hitters in terms of combat, Rourke and Duftel. Bode also has Barnabas and Dasco, which are the opposite of power hitters.
Okay, Barnabas is sneaky, right?
Very.
So Barnabas, can you focus on trying to find whoever our agent person is, and you can take who is it with you? Dasco, and then we have our 2 heavy hitters on the field in the area where most people are. Try to keep us safe.
Sure, yeah, I can do that. If we need to be sneaky, is Dasco also sneaky?
That is a big no.
I mean, Dasco can stay with the canoe, and
I
keep
feel like
it
that's
safe.
how it ends up where we have 2 canoes. Yeah. Just say, I feel like that's what might end up happening here. I'm more inclined to have Dasco go with, or have Barnabas do an infiltration, and have Dasco try to stick with the power hitters. Because if we have Barnabas go do an infiltration, then suddenly we don't know where Barnabas is, and that's the best place for Barnabas to be.
It's
Alright.
true. All right, so
Yeah, that works.
Sub A, which building are you going to?
So we can do like a drop off, right?
Yes,
That means we can drop off one person and then move on to another spot.
correct.
So we can drop off Barnabas anywhere and then not be where we dropped off Barnabas.
Yeah, the least specific about where we drop off Barnabas, I think, the better.
Roll dice, and that's where Barnabas is.
Well, Barnabas is wherever Barnabas wants to be.
That's true. Barnabas, set dice down, pointing up from where you want them to be.
All right, so let's go to boat B then. Which building are you guys going to?
I'm thinking if we expect most people to be in the dome, we should be going to the dome.
Okay. Do you want to go to the entrance near the sub, or do you want to go from another side?
I think another side. This is the sneaky boat.
Okay. So you sneak around the side, and you enter the dome. Suddenly there is light, first underneath you as your canoe gets paddled closer, and then as you dunk your head into the water and swim into the lit area, you find yourself dropping out of the water as though the water is a wall on the side, and you just swim through it and fall onto a dry floor. There is absolutely some kind of magic here. The magic does not appear to be original to the building, from what you can tell. It seems like it is very powerful and long-lasting spells, but spells that were cast on the material, not woven into it.
Okay.
So it seems to be very different from the magic you guys were dealing with in the cave. Newer, more improvised kind of magic.
Relay that to the crew. Can I tell, like, what type of magic it is? Am I haze?
It is definitely scholastic magic of some sort. It's not a priestly spell.
Okay.
But otherwise it is of a foreign design to you.
Okay. I'm guessing at boat C is going for the submarine, right?
That's the Ani mostly, right? And the dwarves mostly, right?
It's a TIA and
Yeah.
Charles, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So Charles, which end of the submarine do you want to enter? The one connected to the dormitory or the one connected to the dome?
The one connected to the dormitory.
Okay. So you guys do not have the fun magical experience of glowing lights. You guys kind of come up through a moon pool to something lit by the soft red glow of just regular covered oil lanterns. So you basically climbed up through a miniature moon pool into the interior of the submarine. There are no guards here at the moment. All right, Boat A, have you decided where you want to go?
I mean, we're just going to go to the dome, right? Is that? I think we're all converging there. Is that the plan?
Which entrance to Dome A would you like to use?
So frontal.
The one right by, like, where the submarine is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I also want to get a peek at the submarine as well and see if there's anything there, or see about commandeering it, you know?
And you drop off Barnabas before you do that, is that correct?
I believe that's the plan.
Yeah,
Where
the
do you
three of
want
the
to drop
people
off
that
Barnabas?
were in this honocraft the entire time exit here.
All right.
That's the idea.
So Barnabas is dropped off somewhere mysterious, is that? Probably somewhere near Dome A. Somewhere around the periphery of Dome A.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be somewhere near the dome. No.
All right.
Barnabas has their own mission that they both know, and also we trust Barnabas to figure out a way to be helpful.
Okay. So, you guys come out of through the magic barrier, dropping down onto some dry stone, and the barrier actually is pretty good quality. Like, it doesn't completely dry you, because that would be horrific and you'd like desiccated, but it does take most of the surface water off. So your clothing is not uncomfortably moist. And yeah, you are now in what is basically a little hallway, but it should be sort of described here that the walls don't go all the way up to the ceiling. They also look like maybe they used to, or they used to go up higher than they do. There's been a lot of damage here. Most of them are varying anywhere from 2 feet tall to 30 feet tall, just depending on how the rubble fell. But a lot of the rubble seems to have been cleaned aside to make this a long hallway leading to a large circular room in which you hear voices. There are also various rooms off to the side that you walk past. Most of them are dark and filled with equipment. You do see one as you walk past that looks like it's got a little table with a lunch set out, but there's nobody in there to eat the lunch. It would be at this point that you would make a stealth check if you intend to be stealthy.
All right.
I think
Yeah, stealth check.
Evatala at this point is going to try an invisible Rabbi and herself if possible.
Okay, now you guys entered from the opposite side. You didn't come in through the main entrance. So you guys are not really at any risk at the moment. So yeah, prepping would be great.
Yeah.
You guys are in just like a little side room. It's not been cleared out. There's rubble everywhere. You're going to have to climb over stuff to get around.
Listen, I have a lot of experience points, and if this is the season fucking finale, I'm gonna spend some shit. I will suddenly be good at sneaking if I have to be.
You learned from the door.
From trying to smuggle doors across 3 boats multiple times, yeah. I learned a thing or two.
Charles, are you going to try to take point on this, or are you going to let the TIA agents do their thing?
I'm gonna let the TIA agents do their thing for stealthy, because I'm not good at stealthing part, so I'm just gonna like I'm there more for like firepower if the need be.
All right, they nod to you, and immediately, like 2 of them are just gone because you're looking at the third, and when you turn to try and see where they're gone, where they went, the third one is also gone. They are great at stealth, and they have infiltrated this boat. Walking down the hall, you do occasionally hear little bangs of metal now and then. And then as you step across a threshold into a room, you see that there are 2 unconscious mining cooperative fellas there.
While I'm walking by, one's gonna recharge my watch for me.
Okay. Do you need to make a roll for that?
I'm not sure. I guess if I just like pull a knife and I cut his throat, he'll die.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. So you exploit the fact that he's unconscious and just slit his throat. These were the 2 guys that decided to join the Dark Pact here. Which brings us to the fact that these guys are starting to run low on manpower. It looks like those were the last 2 of the original set of mining cooperative employees. You hear a noise from behind you. It's some arguing as, let's see. That's right. It's your necromancer friend, and he is being dragged by the collar down the hall by Jax.
They're gonna sacrifice his ass.
Jax is saying, you're going to need to explain your goddamn self as to where the fucking treasure is.
I'm gonna duck behind something to let them pass because it seems like he's got it covered.
Oh my god, yes.
All right. You do notice that your hiding spot also has one of the TAA agents in there. 006 looks at you and like raises an eyebrow as if asking, do you want me to take these guys out?
I mean, yeah, I'd say yeah, honestly. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'll give them a nod. Like if they're able to knock them out.
Barnabas is gonna be so upset. Or
I
maybe
mean-
not.
I mean, we could leave Jax alive in time for Barnabas to monologue.
No, that's a recipe for fucking. No one should monologue. Because if you monologue, you're going to mention the thing we're not supposed to talk about.
Oh yeah, you've got the dwarves on the comms. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right then. Yeah. So the TAA agents they don't need to give you silly signals. They just use the comms and be like, do you want us to try and take these guys out?
Yes, I think you can. 'Cause I don't think Jax has any magic.
Yeah, that is correct. As far as I understand, Jax does not have magic. Jax has money and business sense and the ability to get stuff. Jax is basically a Dasco type character. Is that right?
He's a grocery.
Is he? Let me double check.
He was like a tavern owner.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
let's say grocery is his class.
he wasn't even part of your crew, was he? He was like a guy you guys were scanning.
Oh, yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you actually don't know much about what he is.
He
I
did
guess
yank
I'll-
that amulet, though.
Amulet is magic, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll get the TIAs too. Like if anything gets too bad, I can step out and.
All right. So the TAA agents are stealthy. It's just amazing to watch them work as they, from your hiding point, you see them just slipping behind things, silent as ghosts. And then just as they're like basically coming out, daggers drawn to take these 2 from behind, one of them is knocked aside by Slifan, who you haven't seen. You don't know how long Slifan has been sitting in the shadows, waiting and watching, but one of the TA agents is just knocked aside into a side room. Slifan disappears into that room. The other agents are now facing off against Jax. Jax does not know magic, but Jax is a very accomplished alchemist.
Pocket sand.
Pocket explosion, yeah.
Didn't say how fast the sand was moving.
All right. Meanwhile, in the dome, Remy, have you done any? I'm sorry, Evatala, have you done any magic on Remy?
If Remy wants, I will invisible the both of us.
Sure.
I'm
You
kind
can't say no to invisibility.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a downside to it, right?
Right. It's just a question of, does Remy have a plan for something to do before I invisible him so I don't have to re-invisible him afterwards? That's the only question.
Nope. No plan like always.
Brilliant. So this is a roll, I presume?
Unless you have it memorized, then yes.
Yeah, I don't have it memorized, but I've cast it a fair bit recently. There's
This might be the sort of thing that you end up writing down in your spell book as something to memorize for future casts.
yeah, but memorization's for nerds.
Hey,
That's not. She didn't mean it pejoratively. You did a very good thing with the books.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And the fact that you memorized them meant you didn't have to roll for it, which is good because that was a really, really powerful spell.
Yeah. Avatala is like just magically gifted and just doesn't care. So unfortunately, I have to add empathy to this because there's no way I'm going to argue that this is vigor, agility, or perception. I guess I could argue like it's some sort of perception. Because I am making myself not be able to be perceived. But probably not, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Have we rested recently? At any point? Because I have not kept up my tax.
I think you got one short rest while Dasco was out collecting stuff.
Okay. And that's quality what? Sorry.
You're on the boat, so quality 2.
All right. Oh God, that's only 2/6.
Oh, let's see. So this is invisibility, 10-foot radius.
I've done it before. If that helps. Yeah.
You have
Oh.
what level spells invisibility, 10-foot radius? I think it's third circle.
yeah, and you
Free.
take half. What was it? It only takes you half of the successes to.
Oh yeah, that's true. You do have improvisation, right? Yeah.
I do have improvisation.
Yeah, so it would be a third circle spell, but yeah, you only need 2 successes to cast it.
Okay.
The value of talents right there. All right, so the two of you are magically invisible.
I'm trusting that the dwarves are talented enough at stealth on their own to be able to handle not being invisible.
I mean, the dwarves are nearby when you cast it, so they're also invisible now.
Is it just a radius? Is it not about how many people?
No, it's just an area.
All right. Then I turned the dwarves invisible as well.
Yep. Yeah, last time you turned Charles invisible as well, but Charles then immediately did a necrotic blast. Dude. All right. Yeah, so you guys are invisible and begin climbing over rubble and making your way around, stealthily checking things out. You guys are able to spot the group that's in the sort of center of the building. There's a large open circular chamber with lots of little sub-laboratories down various halls around it. Coming from the not cleaned up areas, it's slow going, but through cracks in the broken walls, you can see that the middle has some petrish parts hanging on hooks from little racks that are set up. And it seems like complete petrish frames are being assembled. They look combat style, so big, bulky, powerful blades and such. And it seems like the blades are being taken off and Bennington cannons being installed. Group A, you guys, are you guys just coming straight down the main hall at that central group? Or are you guys going to duck into a side area and try and hide for a moment? As a reminder, Group A is Rorik, not Barnabas necessarily, Dasco, and Duftel.
So there are a bunch of rooms. One of them had food in it.
One of them has Sliffon in it.
That's somewhere else, right?
That's on board the submarine.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we just have a bunch of empty rooms, and then one of them that has food.
They're all dark rooms, yeah, or no? Except for the food room.
Yeah, so the sources of light here, except for the torches that well, they're not really torches, the lanterns that your enemies have set up in their main central room, most of the light is this soft blue-green glow coming from the force fields that are keeping the water out. That stuff is all the way, basically a nearly complete circle around the periphery of this collapsed area, and little bits of the roof where cracks would have let water in otherwise. So there's lots of shadows, plenty of places to hide if you wanted to give that a try. Or you can just walk bold as brass straight down the middle and address them.
I'd like to be sneaky, yeah.
Who's there? Just some guards?
Actually, no. The guards are all gone.
Okay.
The TA agents took care of the guards, and they knocked them out, and then Charles stabbed them, and they were all back on the submarine anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, if you want to advance a little bit and take a look at who's there, go ahead and make a stealth check to see if you're spotted.
You know what? I'm gonna stealth ahead.
Okay. So you approach, and you get to see that there are indeed some people. There's no guards. What you've got is you've got the Aptian Bone Priest. You have somebody inside a monstrosity. It is a petrish frame that's had the middle hollowed out. And it looks like Edgar Parrington has been installed into the frame. It looks like his arms and legs were cut off, and then the bones from those stumps were grown into the frame to take control of it. It looks horrific. Additional spikes of bone have come out of his back and chest and inserted them into other places within that cavity, and the frame is acting as his arms and legs. He now stands about 12 feet tall, and
Is he conscious?
yes.
Oh God!
Cool.
His face is this withered, horrific mask, but he does appear to be in control of his faculties. And he is assembling another Petrish frame. This one without the large chest cavity. This one has a much smaller, more Petrish-sized installation point for a small insect-sized creature to install itself to control the frame.
Awesome. I'm gonna quietly be sick in my mouth a little bit, and then stay in the shadows.
So that's what you see before the Bone Priest notices you.
Sweet.
Someone is here, he announces. And the others in the room turn to look. And the others in the room are... oh yeah, actually, no, they're... he's down to just him and the Bone Priest, isn't he? Yeah, Jax is in the other room. Oh no, I'm sorry. There is one other person, and that is the proprietor of the casino.
The other
whose name we
guy?
never learned.
Mm.
The casino proprietor looks over and goes, "Wait, is that Dasco fellow?" And Edgar Parrington turns and says, "Dasco? How in the fuck?" He seems to actually hurt when he talks. Like, shit was modified to the bones in his jaw as well. But, yeah, his general response to you is utter disbelief that you could possibly be there.
Well, I'm seen, so I step out of the shadow and I say, "I know, right? How the fuck did I even get here? I'm completely shit-faced right now. I'm going to be straight with you."
The Bone Priest spits and says, "Ashta." You can see his hand twitching like he was trying to use some magic against you, but it's not working.
Tight.
Is this like, am I dead? Is this like, is this like purgatory or something? Do they have a bar here?
The priest says, "It will be," and he steps aside to allow Edgar to take aim with a rifled cannon of Bennington that has been mounted on his right arm.
Nice.
He takes a shot, but winces in pain. He's still not adapted yet to the armor, which is why his threshold is penalized at the moment. But nevertheless, there is a consequence of 4 coming at you. If you're not able to dodge it, then it's going to hurt.
Is it a condition or a consequence?
It's the kind that you have to deal with all at once.
It
is not a flamethrower, it is a cannonball.
It is a condition. Okay. So I'm going to use determination, so all conditions are consequences, and I don't have to calculate taxes for the remainder of the scene. I still have to pay them. They don't penalize my dice. And I'm going to take that to my composure. It's going to I'm going to take part of it to my composure. It's going to cut my beard pretty heavily, and then hit me. It's kind of graze me in the shoulder. I was going to take it. I'm going to say, and I'm just going to say, well, damn it, you didn't have to just shoot me. And then I'm just going to throw alchemical fire at him.
Okay. Go ahead and
Fuck yeah!
make that alchemical fire roll.
That would be a good time to put points into throwing if you have any left over.
I do have points in throwing.
Excellent. I love that your character has points in throwing because my idea is that you just like you pick up a baby and you shove it into somebody's face on the run. Like you're like, fuck, need to get out of here. Throw some shit.
Well, I do have spare points actually. Let me just put 1 point in throwing. There we go. I don't have a lot of points in throwing, but I mean, I don't have to hit him directly.
I know you're doing the smart thing here by only throwing one, but I really like the idea of you just chucking 5 at him.
You know, that's a good idea. So new plan. I'm just going to throw the alchemical fire. I'm still going to do the same thing, but I'm also going to throw one of my satchel charges with the alchemical fire.
Okay.
Because I know I'm not good at aiming, but I figure the satchel charges will kind of help me out with that. And determination is on, so I'm pretty sure I can take it if it turns bad. But I'm probably going to lose a lot more beard. Dasker is also really sturdy, both mentally and physically. So
that's probably for the best. So that roll was your alchemical fire roll right there.
That was my throw. I didn't do a great job there, but that was my throw.
Okay, there is some alchemical fire burning, and then an explosion from your satchel charge scatters it a bit around the room. From the blast, it's hard to tell how much damage you've actually dealt to the Petrish abomination that has been assembled in front of you. But you've definitely dealt a lot of damage to the ground under that area.
Hopefully I've also caused a lot of confusion, and I'm going to try to use that next turn to just kind of... Well, I'm hoping that other people can take that as an opportunity, and then I can get the fuck out of the way.
Probably. Rurik, it's your go.
Who do you need me to smash? Who should I smash? An explosion just happened?
An explosion just happened in the room, so there's some general confusion. You've got 3 targets. There's an Aphthian Bone Priest, who is currently Ashta impaired.
Okay.
There is a necromancer who is the proprietor of the Necromancer Casino, and there is a man fused into a robotic body.
Yeah, I feel like the Bone Priest is probably the main target. As soon as the Ashta wears off, he's an incredibly dangerous threat. Although Mecha Boy is also... I feel like if the Bone Priest dies, it's still kind of a situation with him. I don't know if it's a persistent thing.
Is it possible that Bone Priest is augmenting Mecha Guy currently too?
I mean, wouldn't it be affected by the Ashtar by now if that was the case?
Only one person here is qualified to know.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess I'll try and hit the Bone Priest then.
Okay. Are you rolling melee? Yeah, okay, there you go. Bone Priest actually needs to make a roll as well.
I'd also like to use Anatomist. Or sorry, I go for the eyes, which is
Okay.
I pay the cost of Anatomist to grant its combat bonus to melee attacks. Let me look at that skill. I basically pay medicine to gain a threshold bonus when dealing with commonly encountered sentient species, or 2 for rare ones. I assume he's a human.
The Bone Priest has passed his scholarship roll, so we'll go into that in a moment.
I just need to know how many medicine I'll tax. I'll just do it at the end, I guess. So it's like T5 then, right?
I think so, yeah. You didn't overdose on Ashta, so, yeah. Nice. A solid hit. So the Bone Priest passed his scholarship check, so that he is aware that the Ashta isn't just in Dasco, but is in him as well. And so, now knowing this, he welcomes the blow, letting you cut directly into them so that his blood spills, and you see that in addition to the blood, some clear liquid pours out of him as well. He seems to have used your attack as a way to purge some of the Ashta from his system.
Cool. Good to. Do I notice this even? I must notice.
You do. You're right there in close proximity, and you see that some of the liquid coming out of him is clear in addition to the blood that comes out.
Gotcha.
You also know that like his stance was not a stance to block, but a stance to like invite you to cut him open.
Cool. Do I have Ashta on me?
You do.
Okay. I know what I'm going to do on my next action.
Alrighty. Duftel, what would you like to do?
I haven't played many people priestly, so I want to do the impossible, but like, do druids just straight up pray to their?
You are a druid of a philosophy, so you can contemplate.
Yeah, I feel like that's not gonna work.
You don't exactly have a voiced entity to speak to the way other priests of gods and demons might. Your entity was always this silent moon orbiting another moon, orbiting a planet, until suddenly it wasn't.
Could you not meditate and basically do like a visualization of the moon smashing down on this guy's god? Would that work?
I mean, there is nothing stopping you from visualizing that, 100%. Turning the visualization into a magical effect will be a roll. It will be a difficult roll, and if you fail the roll, the amount that you fail by will hurt you. Normal people imagining a moon falling onto somebody's head are not in any particular damage, but when you've spent a lifetime of channeling that moon's power, that power is hot. And it can burn you.
I think that's worth the try. Is what we're saying.
All right. So, what is the effect that you want to create? I say this given that you don't have improvisation. I don't think.
No.
All right. What's the effect you want to create for this guy? You want to cut him off from magic? Is that the plan?
Yes. I think that's the goal. Is to.
You want him to feel the searing heat of a moon bursting through the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of cutting him off from magic, I mean, my goal is to, yeah, like he's an Aptus person So my goal is to turn him into
glass.
sand and ash, sand and glass.
Turn your ass to glass, motherfucker!
But cutting off for magic, I feel like does that.
Doing a little bit of quick research here. Is this single target, or do you want to create an area where his magic doesn't work?
I'm gonna go with single. This is focused on a person.
Okay. I feel like your target number should be 4 successes. I think this is like a 4th circle kind of thing, but this will only affect his ability to use 3rd circle and lower abilities. So if he's capable of channeling much more powerful spells, your attempts might not be sufficient. It's sort of an inverted version of Minor Globe of Invulnerability. That's the closest single target thing I can think of. It's not exactly silence, which would only stop verbal components. This is a severing of ability for magic to function. There is another precedent, which is anti-magic field. That's the area effect one. That would be an 8th circle spell, which I think is outside of what you're capable of. Yeah, so let's see if you can put 4 dice on the table. Or 4 successes on the table.
Yeah, that's important. How would I roll for improvisational magic?
So the first question is this an effect that's inside your domain? I think the answer there is no. This is, although you're flavoring it with lots of sand and ashy imagery, you're not technically doing anything to sand or glass. You're doing it to hit somebody's connection to their god. So you don't get to roll anything other than just your magical ability. So that'd be your potential for your elemental magic.
This is gonna be entertaining.
And if it works, you will stop a whole mess of things. Because his turn's coming up. One short. So you take a point of damage. As the failure of your spell burns you. Doesn't mean you can't try again next turn. Good effort, though. 987. He says as though you have any control over the dice. Alrighty. Next up, we've got Evatala and Remy. Action is definitely going on in the center. You guys are invisible. You are also behind the opponents. Somewhere hidden in the rubble around you, Lyria is hiding. You haven't found her yet.
All right.
Quick question before we take our actions. What does Lyria like do? What do we know about her? Would Kate her involved just add Nadasco to the fight?
Lyria is a smith, so she is very similar to Remy in terms of her role within groups. She's a planner. She comes up with ideas for jobs and how to execute them. Her flashback powers are the same as Remy's, in that she can make plans that anticipate the future such that it looks like she's rewinding time to have her team do stuff before they need to. She's not actually rewinding time, just like Remy is not actually, but she's their Remy. Although from their perspective, their Remy is actually Edgar. She just got sort of drawn into the whole thing as Lady Amalia was going to be the grocer for their team. And one of the things she was assigned to do was to go and fetch information in the form of infiltrating your team by becoming a crystal in your pocket. The sentences that this game makes me say are just amazing.
All right. Well, Remy, you have ideas. You go.
All right. You said there's like Petrish swords around.
Yeah, they've actually piled a lot of the Petrish body parts into some of the rooms.
How big are those?
The combat frames are like 12 feet tall. They're monsters. They're huge. The diplomatic and worker frames are about human-sized.
But yeah. So, all right. Are there like smaller Petrish blades of some sort?
Yes. If you're just looking for like arm blades, there's plenty of those.
Yeah. How big are those?
A lot of sizes, actually. You sort of have your selection there. There's everything from little scalpels to huge, like, broadswords.
All right. Yeah, I want to get some like knife-sized.
Okay.
Then. All right, do we go for the Petrish monstrosity or the bone mage? Does anyone have a preference?
Probably Bone Mage, because a Bone Mage is going to get stronger through the fight. I assume that Rourke has told us that the ash is leaking out at this moment.
All right. Well, I will throw some Petrish knives at the bone mage then.
Okay.
What quality
Well, 1 sec.
are the daggers?
Could I just like sneak up and slit this guy's throat? Like I can use my darts as close weapons.
You are invisible, so you can definitely make what we would call a sneak attack. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what I'll do. Like I'm invisible. I have shadow. I have Daywalker. And I'm drinking Ashta. It's as good as it can get. All right, what am I rolling for this? My agility. Am I throwing?
If you're going to throw it, then yeah.
Well, I have a dart proficiency to use my throwing darts as close weapons.
So you'd be using melee then.
Oh, it still uses it as melee?
Yeah, I mean it's melee skill, but you can use them. You can use your darts as a dagger.
Oh, well, that's worse. I'd rather throw them then. Everyone would rather that I throw them. Alright, so I will throw it then.
I mean, you're invisible though, so it's a sneak attack. So I mean they can't actively defend against it really. Use like react or something. But
Alright, so there's agility and throwing. Right?
Yep.
And do these have any, do they have any quality to them?
Oh yes, these are excellent. These are quality 6 blades.
So I get what do I put, a T6?
P6.
P6.
Yeah, your threshold is 6 anyway, but you want 6 pips. Okay, another 4 damage comes his way. He's unable to block it in any way, as he doesn't see it happening. All right, Evatala, what would you like to do? Oh, that does reveal you, Remy. Your invisibility is worn off, but yeah.
So, does Edgar have any exposed flesh on him that's within reach?
Within reach might be a stretch, but potentially his face.
Right. How good is Evatala's acrobatics?
How is your performance?
That's the correct question. Okay. She's 0 in acrobatics. But she really believes she could do it. It'll look cool.
Performance is its own type. Like moving with flourishes is its own art. Okay.
So the bad idea in my head is to take this dagger I have that sucks blood, clamber up Edgar, and jam it into like his neck while like whispering in his ear or something.
I think as soon as you make physical contact with him, your invisibility is done. So
I have been training a skill to maintain invisibility when I do so.
Oh.
And I specifically saved the experience points to spend on this third attempt.
Nice.
So
that's what they're for.
That's my intention, to clamber up him. Because let's be fair, I'm not jumping 12 feet in the air. You know, Avatala can do a lot. She can't do that. And while trying to maintain visibility and stretch herself to do so, just wants to jam the blood-sucking dagger into Edgar's neck or face or whatever like I can get to. Like whispers, you're like, with love from your captain, and then jump off the back.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So that's a melee attack essentially.
Yeah. But obviously, I'm using my performance here.
Right.
It is very, very theatrical.
Very much.
And so petty. I love it.
Okay, so because I've actually barely used this is definitely using my quality 2 touch from Keen. How do I add that on? Is that
P2, I think?
2 pips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or do you roll the pips based on the dagger?
So it would add 2 pips to the dagger's quality, I think?
You never gave me a quality on this dagger.
I assume Q6 minimum.
Well, Q6 is like excellent Excellent stuff. Yeah. So it's a magic dagger. That's reasonable.
So is that on top of the dagger?
So you get like P8.
P8. Yeah.
Oh. Fuck
6
yeah.
successes.
Okay, so this has several effects going on. First of all, you just stab him for 6 damage. Secondly, the dagger begins to drink what it thinks is blood, although you can see that it is not red, but a sickly yellow in color.
Ew.
The dagger doesn't know that, but it's trying to drink it, and it's having a weird reaction with the dagger's magic. You leap aside, having done your thing and said your cruel message, and the dagger actually explodes while in his neck, pushing shrapnel into his face and jaw, messing him up even further.
Well,
If it had to go out, that's the way I want it to go out.
He does not appear to be dead, but he appears to be damaged badly.
Avatala is still invisible, but takes a bow anyway.
that's why you got your performance
Yep.
roll. Like,
And now that you've used it 3 times, we can formalize it as one of your talents. It does need to have a cost of some kind, so it needs to be something that you tax for future uses of it.
Right. Probably it makes sense to tax by magic, I guess.
it does, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or by scholarship, it's one of the two, but probably magic.
I could also see it taxing something like acrobatics, and that you maintain a light touch, so that you don't disrupt your spell. There's various ways to interpret that, but yeah, you'll need to pick one.
Basically, you master moving around the magical soap bubble that is your invisibility spell.
Okay. I'm probably going to choose to tax magic for that, because it feels like a magic tax is probably what I'm doing there.
It's almost like you're fortifying and like making the spell more flexible for yourself.
Yeah. And what are you naming it?
I will figure that out when I'm not in the middle of combat.
Is it my turn yet? Smashy.
Not yet. There's Ty still needs to go, but also I'm trying to type out the roll for how much damage the dagger does to him when it explodes.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah. I'm not going to interrupt that shit. Gonna grab my popcorn. Fuck.
So another 5 damage on top of that. Yeah.
Devastating.
Okay. Yeah. Next up then would be Charles. So Charles, you've seen that the TIA agent was basically swept away into a room, and you heard some horrible noises there. The other TIA agents are confronting Jax, and they're fighting, and their fighting is continuing down the hall. It looks like they're going to reach the end at some point, but you are left alone with your necromancer buddy.
Wizard battle!
Recruit him. We're here to save him.
That's what he thinks. He thinks you're here to save him.
They were literally dragging him down the aisle to beat him.
Okay. So yeah, the 2 TIA agents are fighting one guy, and then the other guy is currently being beaten the crap out of.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that Slafan is just going to murder that TIA agent. Which, if you wanted to go into that room to watch, was probably going to be a very impressive battle. They're both at the top of their game. But Slafan definitely got the drop on him.
You could try and convince the necromancer to try and help you and say, like, well, they were going to sacrifice your ass, you know? Like, You helping us get out of here or not? Like, or have tea, have a scholarly chat, whatever you feel like.
Well, either you're in my way or you're gonna come kick that guy's butt that's in that room right there. As I go into the room with the stuff on, so I can drain the shit out of him.
Oh, okay. You're gonna go into the room that Safan went into with
Yeah.
the TIA agent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I tell Necro Explosion guy, like, yeah, like either you're either there to help me or like just go, like, or you're there against me. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, he starts focusing and channeling. You can see he's trying to take over one of the zombies that he had loaned you, I guess. And he's his commands to that zombie. You could try and fight him over it, but it looks like he's going to have that zombie go load itself up with some explosives. He's back to his usual routine. He wants to bring in an exploding zombie and explode it.
Meanwhile, off screen, there's just a zombie like shoveling fertilizer into its stomach.
Yeah, I'll let go of one.
Okay. Yeah, it's it's stuffing his explosive little pouches into it and starts moving towards the entrance to the submarine. Alrighty. Next up is the Athian. So the Athian priest, the bone priest, recovers for like a moment a bit of his power. And again, like the Ashta isn't really out of his system, but he believes it's out. He believes that he has atoned by letting himself be cut open. And that's really all it takes for him to get some access to his powers again. He reaches out to a nearby zombie as well in the waters. And Tice, you feel one of the zombies just shatter. Its bones break into splinters, and the splinters begin flying through the water at incredible speed. The splinters fly through the wall, and not at a person, as you might be terrified and duck expecting, but instead fly into the Petrish body that Edgar was assembling. And they form into the shape of a mosquito made out of bone splinters that then settles into the Petrish body, and the body shakes itself loose and lands down from the chains that it was being held up by.
Cool.
This creature is very clearly being controlled by him. So whereas you had doubts as to whether he was maybe focusing or concentrating to keep Edgar running, there's no doubt here. This is definitely a spell that that this guy has cast to animate essentially a bone mosquito to operate the Petrish body.
I have a question about the Ashta that I have.
Yes.
Is it in a leather skin or glass?
That would be a question for Dasco. Whatever it is, it's definitely something that was watertight because you just swam through an ocean with it.
Yeah.
So I don't sell the Ashta because it's actually worth money and I like it, so it's going to be in a wineskin.
Wineskin, cool.
All the cheap shit, like just basically rubbing alcohol that I sell as tonics, that's in glass because people like glass. It's shiny.
All right, you dress up the bad stuff to look good, and the good stuff you hide to make it look bad. Yeah,
it's marketing.
Smart.
Sun Tzu would be proud. You appear strong where you're weak and weak where you're strong. Alrighty. Yeah, so that was his move. He has brought this creature into the conflict. If you don't do something about his magical abilities, the creature will act next turn. The things you could do are, Duftel could try and break him, or break the connection again, or you could just kill him if you can get enough damage on him. Of course, doing so would mean ignoring Edgar, who is going to make another shot, this time at the giant barbarian woman. Not really a barbarian, but the huge and obviously dangerous woman that just slashed his priest. He may or may not notice that Remy did some damage later.
Ha!
A cannonball fires at you. It's 3 damage, so it's clearly not a direct hit, but you can describe how that impacts you and try and mitigate that however you wish. This is the type of attack that has to all be mitigated by a single source. So you can put it all into health or all into one of your other stats, but all the taxes go to the same place. There's an exception to that, which is you can use your avoids. Avoid, notice, and those things have the exception rule that they can be used to counter successes before tax is calculated.
So, for example, if I wanted to spread it across my resist, avoid, and notice, I could. Those are the only skills I could.
Those are the only ones that you're allowed to do that with. Otherwise, it has to all go to the same place. And for narrative reasons, that place cannot be composure at the moment.
That's totally fine. I will spread it across my resist, avoid, and notice in that case.
All right, so you matrix dodge that, basically.
I mean, I basically... So my thought is that I just in time hear him winding up and sort of, like, block it with my shield, but obviously it's a fucking cannonball, so it's like, I glance it, manage to sneak just out of the way, but it's still like, oh, fuck. I don't know. Or
Okay,
just matrix dodge, you know, bullet time, whatever.
That sounds good.
I am a badass.
Yes, yes you are. And that's pretty needed here. Okay, now it's time for some necromantic magic. Remy, having appeared suddenly behind the casino owner, is a little worried about that, and so he is going to cast Grasping Hands. Ghostly hands rise up out of the floor, trying to grab at you. In order to move, you will have to overcome a difficulty 4 test against the hands. So that would be basically just vigor and athletics to pull yourself free from them.
Okay.
This does not impair your ability to throw things, but it does mean you can't escape without doing that. Okay. And then, let's see. Okay, yeah. So, Tice, you see Slifon basically finish off and death blow the dwarf. You're going to be clearly his next target. And unseen down the hall, there's more noise as the 2 agents try and fight against Jax. But, good news, there's an open seat now in the canoe.
And we don't know where Barnabas is.
And you have no idea where Barnabas is. Barnabas, you can show up whenever you want, by the way. You just let me know, and you're there. Wearing any disguise you wish.
He's like he's like literally a rock. He's just a rock. I would love that.
or one of the knocked out guards, or the sandwich on the table. Like, there's just no knowing.
Avatala's zombie fish has been Barnabas.
How many people are in the room that Jax is in?
By people, they're they're NPCs. Yeah. So Jax is there with the two TAA agents. Jax is essentially putting alchemical fire on them. They're in a bad way.
What are the two TIA agents that came with us doing?
They are invisible. You have no idea. You could ask them. But,
I am asking them.
Okay. So one of them says, I found Lyria, and the other one says, shh, it's going to be awesome.
I tell them to let us know when we need to flee.
All right, so starting up the next set of turns then, we'll go with Rurik first.
Okay, I'd like to shove my Ashta down the priest's throat. I believe that's an unarmed.
That would be an unarmed attack, yes.
Can I assist?
Yes, you can.
I'm basically tanking at this point, so. All right, so I'm just gonna leap on him and try and hold him down.
Okay. Unarmed as well.
More like uncorked.
Oh, does this grant me helper dice or something? Should I just wait for him to roll?
I think it's going to be like a collective, all your dice together kind of thing.
Gotcha.
I'm not holding him down very well, but I've got his like left hand, maybe.
Without context, it looks like an awkward handshake.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm trying to think if I want to use my. Wait. God damn.
All right, let's see what his roll is.
I hope your vigor sucks. I hope his unarmed is 0.
He is deciding that he is not going to roll his vigor unarmed. He is going to roll his faith.
Because you gotta have faith, the faith, the faith.
He's no longer suffering any conditions from the Ashta, right?
Not at the moment, but that may change if he doesn't get enough successes here.
Fuck.
But he does. So he focuses his faith and refuses to acknowledge that this was a willing imbibement of Ashta. It splashes around his mouth. Some even gets in his throat, but he mentally denies that it happened.
Nuh-uh. He's just literally...
Basically, yeah, it's a syllabusist, just, yeah, refuses to acknowledge that the Ashta entered the system.
God damn it.
Yeah, priest magic can be bullshit sometimes.
Does this do damage since I'm, like, hurt? I don't know if this does physical damage or if it's just to see if I can get it in his mouth, basically.
You have prevented him from acting this turn.
Okay, cool. So this counts as a grapple.
Yeah. It's a grapple. You did grapple, and basically he had a choice. He could either try to resist your grapple and roll 5 dice, or he could try to actually just accept that he's grappled and resist the effects of the Ashta and roll 7 dice. And he took probably the mathematically better option there.
Yeah.
All right.
He did what he should have done in character. So.
Yep. So I'm just going down the list as I see in Discord here. So Remy, you're up. feet are stuck, you can try and push out of that, or you can throw more stuff.
So throw stuff at the bone guy.
Okay. Bone guy is currently held prone and will not be able to use any abilities to mitigate damage. Good grief. You're straight DPS right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
Daggers
nice
per
roll.
second.
Your dagger pierces the flesh and cuts to bone. All right, let's see. Dasco already went, so Duftel, you're up. It strikes you as a priest that the fact that a bone priest has exposed bone from being cut with a knife might be a bad thing if you can't get his magic under control. On the other hand, you might be able to output enough damage to kill him. He's taken a tremendous amount of damage already, particularly from Remy.
Yeah. The challenge 4 against 4 dice is always a rough gamble. Anyway.
It is. Do you have anything that can improve your chances? Threshold modifiers, magical item that might give you pips for channeling your energies?
Character point suspend.
Just as a refresher, what can you do with character points?
Yeah. You can use them to get a master. Well, basically, pretty much what you can do with them is you can convert them to 3 experience. Pretty much. You can burn them to perform an epic feat as well, if you want, which guarantees success on a single test.
Like punching his god in the face.
That was the that was what Avatala did, right? Like that's like you use it like basically 3 experience, 4 experience, and you learn a talent.
It's 3 talents or 9 now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but that's
what I was
basically
doing.
right.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, this is a cool thing to learn, so that's probably a good idea.
I was looking for the wiki page on advancement.
Yep, it's in mechanics, advancement, character. Just search for character, actually.
Because the word character appears so many times, I got a lot of results. But,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I typed down advancement, and it found it much faster.
Here we go. A point of character can be spent to perform an epic feat, allowing you to take narrative control and narrate the outcome of a critical moment, or to perform some amazing action. You must either have advantage or disadvantage in order to perform an epic feat. The epic feat must be narratively important for the story and for your character's development. And if you perform the same or similar epic feat 3 times, you may list that ability as a new talent.
Just think of all the druid clout you're gonna get. Your other druid friends will be so impressed.
Which moon is best? My moon is best.
Yeah, I would think of it as the moon got to crush them, and then it's my moon, and I get to crush them. Like that's the connection.
That's no moon. That's my god.
So if you have a character point or 3 experience points to spend, you could perform an epic feat.
I do have that, so let's do that.
Okay, describe your epic feat. Narrative control is yours for the moment.
I'm trying to think of how you would actually do this.
It's a philosophical attack, right? You're trying to strike at his connection to an entity transmitting power to him through the astral plane. Be as colorful and as visual as you like. We want to know what it looks like. We want to know what they feel.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the explanation from a point that like it would actually be happening. And as I was thinking of it, it started seeming like different magic than astral. But I mean, this is basically what's like, just without describing it, this is something that he's gonna feel happen, right? Like that's the idea.
Yeah. He's going to know you've cut him off. There's subtlety isn't the style that you've been executing so far. There's at least one burned down and collapsed warehouse as evidence of that.
All right. Okay, I don't know how crazy, how creative this will be. Does he know what his? They have an idea of what their god looks like, I assume.
Yes.
Or they have some imagery.
Yeah, he's got some imagery of what his god looks like, which is probably not made up. His god is a demon from the lower planes, so his imagery is probably something he literally saw in one of his astral journeys.
Okay. So so I'm gonna do this, and what he's gonna see is he's gonna be reaching out to that god for he's gonna see his god, or who he's reaching out to. He's gonna see a whirlwind of sand, essentially. Like this, he's gonna see a whirlwind of sand to the point that it changes what was around that god. So that god is now standing in a desert, and he's going to be eclipsed in shade.
All right.
And then, I mean, we could just finish that out. Then he's going to get completely crushed by a moon.
Eclipse in shade, and you look up, the shade is being cast by a moon, and then it hits. All right. You have not literally... Oh. Music interlude there. You have not... You haven't literally crushed a god with a moon, but you've definitely made this guy's connection feel like his god has been driven away. The most immediate reaction here is that Remy, you hear kind of a noise behind you and see that the animated Petrish golem that his bone magic was animating has fallen apart mere feet away from smashing your prone form.
Thank God.
Composure damage.
Just take a condition damage to your clothes. You peed your pants. You're gonna be all right.
My pants are brown. It's all good.
You wore your brown pants. You're ready.
All right. So next up would be Evatala.
Evatal is going to start monologuing here. She's going to turn to Edgar and just say, Edgar, it's a shame to see you like this. All your friends gone. Even your new friends. Cut them off. But you know who I am. I know who you are. So?
Grimacing through unimaginable pain, but beginning to gain some focus. Edgar says, price is paid for power.
Yeah, the price is going to be your life. I think you're going to realize that. And as I don't want to actually attack Edgar. I'm going to well, we have the bone mage finished off, right? Or basically finished off.
You shut down his magic, which
We've
means
shut down
that
his
there's
magic.
yeah, he's got almost no.
It's a dude bleeding out on the floor.
He's a fucking nerd. I'm gonna shove him into a locker.
Yeah. So, I want to go over. Is this towards the necromancer, and once again using my performance. What do I have? Is there like a so there's like Petrus stuff around? Was it there?
Yes.
I'm going to pick up one of those and hide it between my form, I guess. Yeah. Jam it hold it under an armpit or something to keep it invisible. Presumably.
Okay.
And then go over to the necromancer as I'm talking and basically do the same thing to him with the knife, except I don't have to clamber up.
Melee attack. Go for it.
Performance. Because that's the monologue. The monologue's a performance.
Every use of that taxes your performance, doesn't it?
It does. So I get a lower roll each time. And this one doesn't bleed, but I still get the pips, right? Because it's the same quality.
Quality 6. Expertly made Petrish equipment. Not all Petrish equipment is perfect, but Edgar had the opportunity to pick the good stuff.
6 successes. I'm just going to keep walking by as I leave the dagger. Or actually, no, I'll yank the dagger out as I leave.
Absolutely
Okay.
vicious.
And what did you tax to use your talent to not
I'm
become visible?
taxing my magic.
Okay.
I'm taxing my magic. I'm taxing performance on that.
All right. He looks down at the dagger and is very concerned. One does not want daggers mysteriously appearing in one's chest. That's problematic.
I think it's even worse when they appear and then disappear, because now you have a very bad wound that's bleeding out. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's a. Have you guys seen Talladega Nights? Isn't there a part where like he stabs himself in the leg to prove that he's like not paralyzed?
He's
I don't know.
he's trying to prove that he's paralyzed by
Oh
stabbing
yeah,
himself
his
in the
proof
leg,
is yeah.
But he's not paralyzed, so he hurts
Yeah,
himself.
and then, yeah.
All right.
By the way, I want this not to be in the chest. I want it in the back of the neck.
Okay. It doesn't kill him, so it kind of like wedges into like a shoulder blade or something back there. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Barnabas. So you've got Jax. Jax is using alchemical fire to just beat the hell out of some TIA agents.
All right, yeah. So while all that's been happening, Barnabas sussed out where Jax is located. And what I'd like to do is spend my character point, if I can, to narrate taking down Jax.
Okay.
And I'm hoping, like, basically the element of surprise. He's busy trying to murder the TIA agents or torture them or whatever he's trying to do. So hopefully, that warrants the situation.
I mean, if you spend the point, it sounds like you get to do whatever you want, kind of, because you're a badass.
Yep. So you have narrative control.
Excellent. All right. So basically, I'm going to come in and surprise Jax. And just, obviously they've had a long-running rivalry. So, yeah, Barnabas is like, Jax, it looks like I'm about to have the last laugh. And then kind of comes up to him, rips the amulet out of wherever it is. Maybe it's in one of his pockets or whatever. And then Barnabas takes out his bag of holding and envelops Jax into it.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm hoping that he'll just like suffocate in there, and die, basically, that there's no way for him to just get out. I hope with
Technically, there's ways for him to get out, and technically, there's like lots of air in there, but
yeah, the bag of holding is a gateway to the astral plane, so he's not going to suffocate there. He can just believe he's breathing. That's sufficient. Technically, there's no air there, but it doesn't matter, because if you believe you're breathing, then you're fine. There is an infinite amount of space for him to wander in every direction, but it is the astral plane. So
what happens if the bag of holding is destroyed?
Then he will be just cast adrift in the astral to encounter whatever he may encounter. And the list of horrors that are out there is pretty expansive. He might also fall into any of a number of color pools or portals that lead to the infinite planes of existence.
I mean, it sounds like he could accidentally end up in hell or heaven, so I feel like...
Yeah, it's kind of random.
Like, literally, basically.
He might also end up just getting eaten by Githyanki.
All right, well, I guess we'll let the fates decide.
I think
I
just
didn't
making
realize...
him go poof in your bag is an excellent end to this character. It's hilarious.
Well, and what I was hoping for, I don't know what are the chances of this, but like as he falls in there, he sees the Coriolanthi, the real Coriolanthi delegate whose dead body I had thrown in there at one point, and like starts to put things together or whatever.
He'll have plenty of time to be pissed about it
Exactly.
and nothing to do about
Yep.
it. He's gonna be so mad. It's great.
If he ever figures his way out of there, you are dead.
Yeah.
It does mean you can never open that bag of holding again.
I mean, you could open it directly into a cell.
Yes, you could do that. Throw it into a cell and open it. Open it into a pit of molten something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Yeah. And so Jax is floating away into the astral plane, and he sees the Coriolanthi dead body floating by.
Actually, most likely the way that bag was enchanted, the bag's magic is probably going to sort him into the list of things that are in the bag so that the bag can access him when you request him. And that sorting is, because you only have the two objects there, it's just going to place him next to the Coriolanthi ambassador's corpse for as long as he
Remains in the
bag. Yeah.
Excellent.
Just sitting there next to a desiccated corpse for, yeah.
That thing's been in there for like a couple weeks now.
Yeah,
It's real ripe at this point.
It's because he's dead baggage.
Well, and I figure he will starve at some point, right?
Yeah,
or is
that's
there?
True. He's only got what he's got on him, so yeah, he will likely potentially starve. There are ways to imagine food into existence, but the astral's not really built for that. Most of that stuff happens in like limbo.
Is the bag of holding actually a portal to the astral, or is it just like a pocket dimension or whatever that spills into the astral if you open it, or is it like if they're actually in the astral, it'll just exist forever? Like you don't need to eat or breathe there.
Yeah, this one wasn't like a super expensive one, so
okay.
It could
it's
be
probably just like a pocket dimension, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was whatever was cheapest for the manufacturer.
Yeah, it's got sorting capabilities though, which is pretty useful.
Yeah. I love that. Like
typically, those also forbid putting live things into it because sometimes they don't come back out alive.
In this case,
I'm violating the rules of this bag.
This is a bag. This bag didn't come with the standard label. You know,
I mean, it's probably a black market bag.
That's what the talent is. You could shove a living thing in there.
Gotcha. This is okay. You got this from Wish. I got it.
He's using an exploit to put fucking Jax in the bag.
Gotcha.
All right, the agents. Thank you for rescuing them. They've mostly had to take their armor off, just because the alchemical fire was eating right through it. They do manage to get some stuff together to stop the fire from burning the submarine down. And then we've got Tice. Tice, you're up against Slafan. Slafan makes a quick flip of the wrist with his dagger, and the blood from the TIA agent splatters against the wall, cleaning the dagger.
It must be really fast.
And also have the kind of dagger that has a non-stick surface. Which, from a practical standpoint, is ridiculous.
I was just gonna say, like, nah, dog. I don't know if that's like great, because didn't they literally design swords with like a groove in them to specifically let out blood?
Yes. This is one of those daggers that edgelords get to look cool.
Oh, he's a fucking mall ninja. Sick. Seen a lot of those guys at the anime convention.
So yeah, Charles sees him. He's like, looks at him, it's like, well, you helped out a little bit, but You're still in my way. As he holds his watch and is going to start to steam a little bit as the souls in it burn. As he puts his hand out to basically he's going to use his necromagic energy as a very soul and essence of the guy who's going to start. That's what he's going to be attacking and pulling on. The souls from the watch turn to like black spirit dogs as I go like fetch me his soul. I'm going to be spending my character point to be turning this to using that as a thing. Yeah, fetch me their soul as I can burn souls from like that I have on me to into dogs that can help me rip souls out of people.
All right. So you basically summon a pair of spirit dogs that begin tearing him apart. Is that or
You
tearing
got
his soul apart?
Pokemon, dude.
Yeah, so it's more like composure damage and stuff. So because it's trying to rip out his soul.
How many souls did you have stored in that thing?
Currently only 2 because I just recently killed 2 people.
Yeah, that's
And if it depends on if I can use the TI agent or whatever that just recently died in front of me as well.
You would have to use the watch to collect the soul first, I believe. So that would be 2 actions.
Okay, then I'll just do the 1 action. Yeah, I'll only do 2. These like spirit dogs that look, yeah.
All right, cool. Wonder if we should. Yeah, you spent a character point. So okay, so yeah, they tear into him, and as you said, they rip into his soul, and he takes severe composure damage, and is gone from being this slick, cool guy to just a child whimpering in the corner. All right, back in the main room, the Necromancer and the and Edgar are still up and operational.
I was gonna say the Abomination, because
Yeah.
he is now.
And with every firing of the cannon, he seems to be getting more and more control over himself. This time, turns towards Remy, who's done just a tremendous amount of damage to his Bone Priest. Would have attacked Evatala, but she's invisible, so we can't figure that one out. Threshold is still penalized by pain, but he's starting to get access to the pips on the weapon. 4 damage, another grazing shot. Yeah. Still stumbling with pain with every shot, but gradually getting a handle on it. His face is wrecked, though.
I can spread this among resist, avoid, and notice, you said?
Yes, and then after that, you just, whatever's left, you have to put into one place. Unless there's nothing left. Yeah.
Well, that's all of it.
All right, another Matrix dot. It pretty much, because you guys are avoiding all of these attacks, it pretty much looks like he's like kind of stumbling and firing, trying to fire at you guys, but like the off balance for the pain is messing with him. But the damage being caused to the areas behind you is becoming significant. This is a cannon. It is a naval warfare kind of thing. So, yeah, if he ever stops missing, you might be in some serious trouble. It's also rolling like crap. That's but that happens.
Yeah, it's 10 fucking dice.
Yes.
Terrifying.
10 dice. The main problem he's got is the threshold penalty from how much pain he's in. But he's piece by piece getting access to the pips. The first shot was at 0 pips. The second shot was at 2 pips. This shot was, I'm sorry, second shot was at 1 pip. This shot was at 2 pips. Meow. Better be careful. Noth thinks I should give him all the pips. All right, the Necromancer, having been stabbed by Evatala, wants to try to reveal this mysterious entity, and so is going to do a general area effect energy drain. He is improvising, so we're going to see how well he does. Evatala, if you could make a quick magic roll to see if your magic can stand up to the 3 successes he got from doing an energy drain. If it does not, then you will also be taking 3 necrotic damage from a health drain.
Do I add anything onto my magic, or is this straight magic?
No, straight magic.
All right. This is probably going 2 successes. All right.
All right, so you are revealed, and you take 3 damage.
I'm just going to take that damage straight right now.
Okay. And you see the wound in his neck close a little bit. As he pulls your vitality into himself.
I hate lifesteal.
Spinning his cilantro.
Would have been funny if he screwed up the roll and damaged himself trying to lifesteal, but yeah.
How did he do the lifesteal exactly? Like what
improvisation.
What I know what did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is similar to Evatala. He's an improvising necromancer.
Okay, this is the necromancer. Okay.
This is the necromancer that owned the casino. Yeah.
Actually, how?
There's like 3 necromancers in this building. It's getting a little nuts.
Everyone had the same idea. Use undeath.
Okay, hang on. So, I have a talent called Contingency. It allows me to pay leadership to narrate how I anticipate this situation state and make a new roll.
That is true.
I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Leadership. So I feel the the attempt to funnel magic or drain energy coming through, and I realize very quickly that I'm not going to be able to necessarily resist this. So I'm actually, what I'm going to do is take this opportunity while his focus is all on draining the energy and revealing me, to hide as this happens. So when he feels it succeed, but still doesn't see Evatala. I'm trying to be really confusing.
Well, what are you redirecting him to feel?
He's going to feel success, but he's not going to know where Evatala is, because he will feel the life. I've laid him succeed.
Oh, you're gonna let it drain your life force without interrupting your spell. Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick before we do this, how do flashbacks affect rolls? Because on day 13, Rourke was alone in a hidey hole with this dude
That's true.
and pretty much just murdered him. If I can trigger a flashback, the person's just not even here. How does that affect everything that just happened?
Yeah, you can't unexist him. You can recontextualize the scene, but you can't remove him as an element from it.
You could have. Actually, hang on, this is even better. I could flashback bribe him.
You could flashback bribe him. You were with Rourke in that room.
Can I actually do... Yeah. I could flashback bribe him to go along with everything that Edgar says until the moment I say his particular keyword. At which point he is to turn his back on Edgar in exchange for lots of money and favors from the Hevelvarn family.
Yeah, and I also spend if I'm able to, I'll spend my criminal thing to give Avatala a secret of one of behind his running his casino that she can use to expose him if he doesn't go along with the plan.
Okay. So you have a secret you can use. What is the secret, Tice?
That he's been that like all the I guess all the souls and stuff he's been collecting from his casino, he's been like donating to the to the Apthians.
Ooh, that's a rough secret. All right. You guys sure you want him to live after having done that? All right, yeah. So you know that
we just don't want to fight him now with Edgar in the room.
Okay. So you are flashback to to meeting him when he's alone with Rourke.
Right.
What are you gonna say?
Sorry, we have not been introduced. Can I have your name, please?
And at long last, we learned his name. Hey, Tice, what is his name? Did we ever give him a name?
I swear I heard the conversation before. Well, if it's not there, then
Oh, you were in that scene. You were the you were a patron. You were in disguise there, Avatala. You were in yeah. The wealthy necromantress.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm basically in disguise. I'm pulling him aside at some point when I've been given access to the high stakes table, basically.
Okay, so at the high stakes table, which he was the card dealer at, yeah.
Yeah, before we get there, like I make sure I have a private conversation with just him, me, and my bodyguard.
Okay.
And
So basically, while you guys are walking down the hall, you were alone there, yeah.
And I say, so this is a nice place. Gonna get a lot of business coming through, a lot of profitable business, particularly in our field. Now,
So offers come in.
yeah, some from, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard that there's some offers coming in from Athos.
He stops cold, looks at you, and says, "That is a serious accusation, given the current political climate."
It is, and it's also true, and you know that. So, I have a proposition for you. This proposition uh, does require you to stab a few very powerful athletes in the back. On the other hand, it will completely clean your hands of this business and prove immensely more profitable to both you and your establishment here. You will be remembered, you know, you have the option to be remembered as a hero, or you can simply go down a path that allows you unfair access to, let's say, the winning side of the war.
His eyes narrow. He says, "Which government do you represent now?"
That's for me to know. Now, here's the deal. I w- yeah, I will pay you two things: money and souls. Um, Now, what I'll need you to do is, in a little while, you're going to be heading out on a long journey. Um, with a man by the name of, I like just pause to like grasp at the name, even though I know exactly the names I'm going for. It'll either be Edgar Parrington, I think his name was, Slavon. One of them is going to be your escort. And you're going to work with them. And you're going to do everything they say. But at some point, you're going to see me again. And at that point, and when I tell you to, and we're going to have a code word for this, you're going to switch sides. You're going to rip the carpet out from underneath them. And in exchange, um, you will have basically a monopoly over business this side of town.
He seems a little disgusted at your offer, but it's for a weird reason that you didn't expect. He says, "I'm no hero, and I'll happily work for money. I'm a necromancer. This is my trade.
So am I, but
you want me to work with the mining cooperative? They're amateurs. They have no idea what they're doing. Why would I ever work with them? I thought you wanted to get something done."
Because they're going to promise you power that you can't believe, but they're not going to be able to provide that to you. They don't understand that they've lost. They think they've won, and they're going to convince you that they've won. They've convinced many people along this road. They have money, they have power, they have contacts, but they will not be able to leverage them.
I gotta be honest. I find it difficult to believe they would have anything that would be of interest to me. Obviously, I'll hear them out.
But you're going to go along with them because
Okay.
I am offering you something of interest to you.
Very well. Let's talk specifics. What are you offering me?
So, as I'm sure you can see, I am. I'm not from your area, but I'm not from far away. But I'm looking to, you know, my youthful looks may disguise me a bit, but I'm looking to retire. And I have a entire estate over it. I'm not familiar enough with the map to name the specific area that I'm listening to, but I want to name like a place that's known for necromancy, but far enough away that it would be um, past this guy's like journey, because he would have all of it accessible to him here.
There's an empire in the east that reveres necrokinetics, which are they're not exactly necromancers, because they don't use scholastic magic, but they're actually like part of government and they're revered by the people.
That's basically what I'm going to say I'm from. That I have an estate there, and I'm, my my youthfulness may disguise the fact that I'm actually quite old, and I'm frankly bored of the responsibility. I want to do something on my own time. But I don't have an heir. I don't have somebody to pass this on to. I'm offering you that.
All right, persuasion check. You made some excellent offers and arguments, and you distanced it far enough away that it is outside his direct expertise, but definitely a tempting offer. So take 4 pips. And it turns out that if this is successful, that you're the only reason he ever accepted Edgar's offer.
Okay. Five successes.
Bam, nailed it. As we can see, your speech was the determining factor there.
Very much so.
Okay, yeah, this guy has been working with you guys all along. This has become a very powerful way of you guys to get things turned around.
And I'm going to, at this moment, utter whatever our code word is. It'll be as part of my monologue, where I go, and
After I stabbed him in the neck, I say,
yeah, after I stab him in the neck, even your friend here, Edgar, necromancer, he's in pain right now, isn't he? And at this point, I'm actually going to let him drain the life force to heal from me onto him. Say, never on your side. And I've already forgot this guy's name.
Oh, I never even mentioned it.
Okay.
We'll call him the Nameless Necromancer.
Yeah. Okay, I'm really bad at coming up with a code word that fits in here. Basically, I'll just tell him to have at it. It's going to be our thing. Whenever I say, nameless one, have at it. As I let him basically drain some life force to heal the wound that I just gave him.
All right.
And that's when he's supposed to do his betrayal.
So he takes in the life force that you gave him, heals himself up, and just begins gathering energy from the ruin. The fact that this entire place has been in a state of rapid entropy recently, he's able to pull magic all around him. It does seem like it's starting to damage the seals that are keeping the water out, the amount of energy he gathers, but he hits Edgar with a necrotic blast that sends him flying backwards through the wall and out into the ocean.
All right.
Isn't his body made of metal right now, kind of?
Much of it, yeah. And yeah,
I'm going to assume he sinks.
He basically sinks to the bottom. Yeah. Guys, like yeah, he's been your friend all along. He turns and says, "I am really glad you took out that Apthian priest because I was getting worried I wasn't going to be able to handle that." I presume at this moment, Rorik, you're like cutting the Apthian priest's head off or something.
Yeah, I'm dispatching him if we aren't already doing that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So you guys,
I was about to smash some fire over his head and just deal with the consequences.
So you hear a voice over the comms. It's it's Agent 007. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was one of the ones with you guys. It was 003. 003 over the comms says, "Guys, I was riding on him, about to stab his face when you shot him through the wall."
You see, the purpose of the comms was so we could know that.
It's like, send an Anu to get me quickly. I'm holding my breath right now.
Okay, I'll send a Anu, I guess.
We do that. We start evacuating to the submarine.
I just
And-
We're not done with Slafon yet.
Oh yeah, we haven't, okay, yeah.
I voice back and say we've got a lot of necromancers, so we'll try and get you, but just remember, fallen allies are opportunities for us. So your service is well respected.
I'm gonna get the TIA agents to like throw stuff on into the room where the explosives are, just to like.
Which room?
The room that had all the explosives in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Your friend has managed to get his explosive zombie ready to go as well. So you guys have Slafon is basically just a gibbering madman at this point, and effectively an invalid, like has to be carried around. Your necromancer friend, who's expecting a fair cut, has his explosive zombie ready to detonate and deal with Slafon, and also wipe out the rest of this facility once and for all. And the head of the nameless necromancer who owns the casino is expecting to get his estate in the Empire.
Yeah, about that. So do we blow them up here, or what? Do we just leave them here?
I mean, we could say that we're arranging for we're shuttling
Right.
convoys and.
A TIA agent says over comms, blow who up now?
Actually,
I explained
Stefan-
very quickly that the two necromancers that we flipped, they flipped for like that they're basically just Apathian sympathizers who just have too much greed that we could use. And I'm sure they understand in their line of work.
Yeah, they understand.
Yeah, actually, I want to keep Slafon in like some kind of jail or something on the ship, so we can take him back as like a prisoner to, as part of like the, like, you know, what's it called? Like our
Like
evidence,
a trial or some shit?
our evidence, whoever would be like.
What
yeah.
evidence? We're gonna. We're not gonna come back and say, "Hey, Celebre, can you please do like legal proceedings on what just fucking happened?" That is not what's going to happen.
This is never hitting the history books. Yeah.
This is only going to be talked about by sailors in whispers and shit, and eventually very, 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 very loud tall tales that are completely removed from reality.
Exactly.
Then how are we supposed to get our stuff from the king?
What stuff?
Art. We just art.
What does the king have of ours?
Well, we stopped an Apathian invasion, so he would owe us favors, or we can then get all this money exempt under our.
We stopped the Apathian invasion. I mean, we aren't saying this, by the way. This is out of character. But the reason that we went down here was because we needed to clean up the loose end, basically. That's the primary reason we came down here. Our characters are not good people. They aren't saving Celebre for the sake of saving Celebre. They're saving Celebre because it suits their interests.
For Rorik, it's conveniently a moral good and also
Yeah.
her retirement plan.
I just say it's fine. You don't know Violethan, so you just made a general mistake of character. You're a Celebran citizen, or at least you're acting as a Celebran citizen. So we're doing something that's good for Celebre. He's not going to pay us shit.
There is the remote chance he might give someone a coin.
There's the remote chance that he might give forgiveness for all the
Like
all the shit that we did, all of like.
You don't think that our shit would be immediately seized?
Oh no, there's no forgiveness for that.
All of the government assets that we've destroyed in this entire process. Then yeah maybe.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with Ed on this one. I'm gonna vote against saying, "Hey, Mr. King of Celebre, here's all the cool stuff we did." Some heroic deeds just don't get the credit they deserve or whatever.
Somewhere in like the TIA files, long after all of us are dead, it might come up that this was an operation that actually happened, and it's told as one of those weird, fun history things.
It's like a weird quirk,
Yeah.
How the Appians didn't get Bennington, basically.
Long after this world is like completely.
It's just going to be a footnote that the treasure that you guys dumped overboard was actually never recovered for some reason.
Yeah.
No one knows where it is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so you basically take Slafon in there, and you set the other two necromancers to guard him, I presume?
Yeah, while we're waiting.
Yeah.
We're just like setting stuff up, and when they we'll just close the door and we'll start floating up, and then as they look up, we're talking about like, wait a second, I'll flick the switch.
You do hear that the necromancer screaming in rage at the betrayal for just a moment before the switch is hit, just casting out magic, desperately trying to resist, and then his ghost shows up and it just like a ghostly hand passing through your face trying to smack you. He's just incredibly pissed off. No one else notices this. It's just Charles. You're going to be haunted by the ghost of this necromancer probably for a very long time.
I just point my watch at him like,
he is too powerful a necromancer to fall for that. But there's nothing he can do about it because he's a ghost now.
Eventually, you'll get to go take some of this money and pay for somebody to work with you and gain this off of you.
Or find him a body that he's willing to accept or something. Yeah. Who knows? There's so many options available to one of your talents. And, and with that, you guys can each... I like the closing ceremony because this is basically the end of the story. In addition to handing out your experience points, I'd like each of you to also give a little post-adventure about what your character does. Like, where do they go from here? Little prologue. Is it prologue? Epilogue. A little epilogue about your character to just let us know kind of what's going on with them.
All right, I'm going to go first then. All right, so my retirement plan. I don't know what the fuck Amelia was doing in this goddamn gym, so can I get like an answer on that? Like, does she have a body? Like,
Well, and there, like I said earlier in the session too, there's plenty of experts in magic that can pull her out and get her back into her body.
Cool. So that's, I do that and reunite with my girl in the flesh since we've been chatting this whole time. Basically. I set up my little fiefdom or whatever. I propose and I make a unconventional, what's the word I'm looking for? Proposition to Lyria to help be on my council. And together with her, me, and Amelia, we're just going to dominate our little corner of the world.
All right, another canon entry into one of the many Middle Kingdoms.
Between their business acumen and my raw military power, we do a lot.
All right.
We'll have cute dates talking about what kind of banners we're gonna get. It's gonna be great.
Do you want to give out your experience now, or do we want to wait till everybody gives their epilogue?
That's totally. I'll wait till the end.
Okay.
If it's the last.
I mean, I don't know
It's
if
the last
I
session, so
even
the
need
experience
to
is
award
relevant
experience
anyway.
points, so I'm not going to bother with that.
It's just an opportunity to talk about.
Yeah, for
what you
sure,
like.
for sure.
I guess we can just go in alphabetical order then. Chris?
Yeah, so yeah, my character just I don't know. It's a I don't know, little piece of land on the outskirts of some I don't know, like
Yo, we could form a
little,
federation.
no, I don't want to be part of a federation. Like some I don't know, some mid-sized village or whatever, nothing too big, and I become the what I'll run a tavern. No, I'm gonna own the tavern, the proprietor of a tavern. I don't run it though. And to explain how I have my little place on the edge of town, I just try to live there quietly and hang out at the tavern and enjoy some drinks every evening. Try to have a quiet life, no worries.
What's the point of being stinking? You needed to do a job like way less dangerous than this one to
No.
accomplish the same fucking thing.
No. I don't need all that. I don't need people sniffing around. I just don't have to worry about shit ever again. And it's gonna be very much like what is dude from Casablanca. I have my own little like tavern club place, and I just do my own business there, and I'm not bothered by anything.
While you're sitting on the wealth of equivalent of like a fifth of a nation's wealth.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No one. People can come in and just all right, whatever. Do what you want. I'm not bothered by you.
He's got fuck you money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, the ultimate heist is getting away with it.
Yep. I was gonna say, like, yeah, you live happily ever after until you get the hunger to pull one more job.
Oh god, that'd be a great sequel.
Yeah, my life's more like cottagecore, but with castles.
Dasco, what's your epilogue?
Yeah, so I take my cut and I move back into Celebre. I purchased Gaston's old mansion and set up there. And I set up like basically a trading organization. I'm basically an investor at that point. There's this biggest scam artist. So yeah, I set up an investment group essentially with my wealth for investing in business opportunities. And then spent a significant amount of the investment income basically supporting Celebran, basically supporting the Thieves Guild and also Celebran, like victims of the plagues, basically.
It turned out he had a heart of gold all along.
There's a lot of profit in supporting sick people.
Yeah, I don't think that's
It's Dasco's medical insurance. Works great.
Oh no.
Troy, what is Duftel's epilogue? Having caused a tremendous amount of damage and explosions over the course of this.
Yeah, I think that's the success in itself, right? I've already done everyone proud.
You can go back to your druid homies and tell them how you like fucked a guy's god up.
Yeah, so I think even at the beginning of this, I didn't have like the money drive that everyone else did. So I assume Dasco has conned me out about my share.
Or you could build a temple to your moon.
I mean,
but really, that doesn't really make sense because, like, don't you destroy stuff? You don't build stuff, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's like from I obviously have personal experience with this now. you build up the blocks and you knock them down. You just do it constantly. It's got to be there for you to destroy it. But I'm thinking that I take this bit of experience I had at the end to heart, and maybe go back and kind of tell the tale and get some more people on my side. And we try to make a goal of going out to join in the app that's crushing and try to disconnect them. Like basically build up a squad of druids that just go and sever the faith of Apthians.
That's fucking badass.
Cool.
Yeah. Duftill's the only good character all here at this party.
He was never in the money. His previous thing was like he was just pretending to be a mage so he could be part of an adventuring party, and he got screwed.
Vaguely, we didn't even promise you a full share because you didn't want it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Dasco had said we'll work it out or something. That's why I'm bringing it up again. I'm pretty sure he got my share.
Well, we always knew Dasco was going to come out with more than everyone else somehow.
Yeah.
He had to cover the expenses.
Not just that, but he came out with Dasco Care. So I mean,
Dasco care. Dasco cares.
What
perfect
is
fucking PR.
What is Evatala's epilogue?
All right, so Evatala returns to her ship with a crew that now better love her, given that she's not only saved all their lives, but also went down, just destroyed the Apthus priest. As a side voyage. She goes out and she needs to go get a couple more shifts because she has 3 staff's worth of crew, and she's going to live out a double life as both the Hellefard heiress and as a privateer on the high seas. Presumably, given her connections to the city, with loyalty towards the Libre.
It's a Libre privateer.
Yeah, basically it's Libre privateer. And yeah, she basically just that's how she does it because she doesn't care about money. Eventually, at some point, she will end up inheriting the Hellefard family business, and she'll have to make a decision at that point. But I'd like to leave it where that's not happened yet.
Presuming they don't find out that you betrayed them to the fishing guild.
No, yeah, it's a double life, but Avatala, everything works out for Avatala.
And Charles, what is Charles's epilogue?
All right, we go out somewhere out in a nice countryside area where there's he decided to built himself a giant mansion, but he's currently in this elegant library that he got built. He's currently using the toolkit that while reading books about souls and other things, trying to figure out these other types of magic as he tries to figure out how to manipulate his soul with other ways so that he could branch out necromancy in different directions. And the last thing you see before the things is a butler walks in and he hands him in a book and he says, "Oh, we finally were able to describe it." And he closes the book. On the front of the book cover it says, "From that fucking Apthian." It's I don't know, on the cover it's his scribble writing himself. It just says random notes from sunken dome, because he had gotten someone to go back there and to recover any notes they could find out from the experiments.
All right. For other, I thought you were going to do a There and Back Again, a Necromancer's Holiday. And there's one last epilogue that I'll leave you all with, which is that on the beach, just outside of Half-Elven, A couple is walking, hand in hand. The woman is reassuring the man that he almost got it that last time, just need to keep at it. And then they stop because they see something that looks like a strange metal crab, like a giant metal carapace shell. But when it lifts up, there's some distorted, nearly human face inside it. They gasp in horror, and instinctively, Evatala's cousin casts his first spell. It's a magic missile, and it kills Edgar. He and the investigator then eventually drag it ashore and figure out what it is and solve their mystery in their little side adventure that we never got to see.
I ship it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, everybody. That was a lot of fun. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the story picks up.
Yeah, thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now, and yeah, we'll figure out what to do next.